मैं सिर्फ 3 घंटा आपसे मांग रहा हूँ।
In the entire cosmos, there are trillions and trillions of galaxies, and every galaxy has got trillions and trillions of star systems, and every star will have many planets. Our solar system has got a few planets, and one of those planets, we are all here. So, Earth has been tended by so many civilizations from so many other galaxies. All these things you will find in great spiritual scientists' books. You must read so many spiritual scientists like Barbara Marciniak, Barbara Handclough, like Jody Satori. Unless you read all these things, you will not understand the scope that is existing. The less you read, the more you think you know. The more you read, less you understand, the more you understand that you don't know. Understand? So reading is very, very, very important for spiritual scientists to gather the wisdom of so many all other spiritual scientists. And meditation is very much required to have health in the body, happiness in the body, happiness in the mind, and clarity in the intelligence. If you are a Hindu, you must read the books of Islam, Christianity, and all those things. If you are a Muslim, you have to read all the other religions. But apart from religious scriptures, what you have to read is spiritual science textbooks. There are hundreds and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of masters who have done beautiful work. And our time is very, very precious. And our time is limited on this.
Why don't we read? What do we do with our 24 hours? Create trouble for yourself and create trouble for others. When you vacate the physical body and go, when you look back, you must have full satisfaction that you have not wasted a single moment in helping yourself and helping others.
वर्तमान आमे ध्यान जोग पत्रिकार उन्मोचन करवा। ध्यान जोग द्विमासिक पत्रिका हेउची बलभद्र ध्यान केन्द्र बा ध्यान जोग ट्रस्ट तरफ आमर ध्यान संबंधी द्विमासिक पत्रिका जहाँ ध्यान और ज्ञान को ओडिशार पुरपल्ली रे समस्त ओडिया पाखरे सरल भाव में ध्यान वार्ता को पहुँचार प्रयास एक जोरदार करताली सहित मु अनुरोध करी पुस्तिका को आने। जो मानकर बही नेबार अच्छी से बाहर पर रजिस्ट्रेशन काउंटर पाखर पत्रिका को नहीं जाए। वर्तमान प्लीज बी देयर सर विल रिलीज द बुक नाउ। वर्तमान आमे शीताश योग द योग ऑफ इनर अवेकनिंग पुस्तकर उन्मोचन करिबा। एक जोरदार करताली सह କରତାଳିର ଗୁଞ୍ଜରଣ ଶୁଭୁ ନାହିଁ। ମା ସୀତାଙ୍କର ସେହି ଅନନ୍ୟ ବାଣୀ ଯାହା ଆମକୁ ଜାଗୃତ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଆମର ଇନର ଆୱେକନିଂ ପାଇଁ ଆସିଛି, ତାକୁ ଆମ ଭିତରେ ଥିବା ସବୁ ବ୍ଲକେଜେସକୁ କ୍ଲିୟର କରିଦେବା। ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ମୁଁ अनुरोध करी प्रोफेसर विजय महापात्र महोदय को डीन कॉलेज ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर को तांकर 2 पदर आशीर्वाद आम पाई देबे।
धन्यवाद। सर्वप्रथम आमर ओडिया जातिर नमस्य देवता चिर नमस्य देवता जगतरनाथ जगन्नाथ को प्रणाम जणाई तथा यही सम्मिलनी कक्ष उपस्थित थिबा समस्त सज्जन मंडली को भक्तिपूत नमन करी द्विपद कहबी, किंतु मु प्रथमे कही रखुची जे मु प्रकृत रे क्षेत्र अज्ञ, किंतु औपचारिकता दृष्टि मते मोर छात्री बा हमर ए ध्यान जोग ट्रस्ट रो जे मुख्य इप्सिता मैडम दायित्व देइछन्ती, तेणु कम से कम 2-4टा वाक्य कहबी। सो मोस्ट रेस्पेक्टेड attraction of the today's function, Madam Merriam and her associate Madam Masteran, and the revered chief guest Dr. Justice Vidyut Ranjan Sadangi sir, and in front of me as I see the deans, directors of this university and faculty members, head of the divisions, and more specifically the yogis. So they are assembled here with some attachment. So definitely I won't take much of your time. मुझे जोटा कहूली मु मझिरे किछि कहबार मोर सामर्थ्य नहीं, तथापि मते दायित्व दिया है जस्ट on behalf of the Odisha University of Agriculture and Technology Bhubaneswar and on behalf of the organizers. So I express my gratitude for your benign presence. So today is a glorious moment for us that our students, those who became active member of this spiritual organization, spiritual awakening process or a movement, that Kriya Jago Samiti, all those, so they have their very keenness, attachment and request has invited the real sadhikas from the overseas. They have come to this place to share their blessings, and they have cultured Indian culture. So during our school days we have read, although so we are hardly devote our time to know ourselves or our Indian culture. It is a rich culture, the Vedic culture. So the other European countries, German, France, and so also USA, they do have some department of Sanskrit language, Vedic culture, their culture. So I must pay respect to these great souls for our assemblies. So definitely it has become a moment to listen from her and listen from the न्यायाधीश Dr. Sadangi Mahodaya. So मु केवल आपण मन को स्वागत करूची, गोटे मुहूर्त आसी, इट इज अ राइट मोमेंट, ए जंक्चर ऑफ द ग्लोबल सीन, दैट वन हेल्थ concept we must have in our mind, that apart from this physical health, this mental health, psychological health and spiritual health in a holistic way, if we will awaken ourselves, know ourselves, means that needs the consistent practice to proceed in a real sense, to know the root cause, where from that Paramatma we have been graced to be in this world, this materialistic world, but we must proceed in a right way. So definitely it is one health concept, how scientific values can be reinculcated in the true action or true activities, so that will give you a good shape and a real life. So मु बेसी समय आपन को नेबी नहीं. So once again I thank you for your your love, affection, attachment for yourself and for this organization and their greatness to be with us in this Magha Saptami, yes, holy Tithi. In Hindu culture, Magha Saptami is a great day. So definitely we will listen from them. Thank you so much.
Now I request Madam Dena Merriam to please come to this and speak a few words that we are eagerly waiting for.
Dhanyavad. Thank you, everyone. It's an honor to be here, and I'm very grateful to Ipshita and all of those who helped to organize this. When I wrote the untold story of Sita, I didn't know how it would be received. I've been a devotee of Ram and Sita for many, many decades, since I was in my 20s, but I didn't know them. I adored them, but I didn't know them. When I wrote the untold story of Sita, I came to live with Sita. She was part of my everyday life, and the whole relationship shifted and my life shifted. But I didn't know how the book would be received. After all, the world sees me as a Westerner. Because I remember many of my past births, I don't identify only as a Westerner, but that's how the world sees me. It was Patraji who found the book and contacted me and asked if he could have it translated and distributed to the members. And I was very touched. This was during the COVID years. I was very touched by his interest and devotion to the book. And I wasn't able to meet him because I wasn't traveling during COVID, but I had a Zoom call with him. And I said as soon as travel began again, I would come to India to meet him. We made an immediate connection. Of course, he left before I could meet him. He took off. But it doesn't mean that I won't meet him in another realm. I have great gratitude for Patraji for what he's done for the book and how he's helped me get the message of Sita's life out, because there's a lot of misunderstandings. And because we're moving into a more conscious era, it is time now to clear up those misunderstandings. I wrote the book. In the introduction, I tell how that book came to me through a visit to Ayodhya and then Vaishnav Devi, which had a very powerful impact on me. After I wrote the book, I began writing another book because I'm a writer. And this was a book about the future. I wanted to project a positive vision of the future because most of the writings out there and the films and everything are of a dystopian future. That's not the future I see. So I began writing this book, projecting myself 200 years in the future, when a dream vision came to me of Sita, and I had to stop that book and write Sita's Yoga. Which again brought me back to that time with Sita, but it's Sita's teachings. After she returns from Lanka and retreats to the forested area, the many villagers who came to her for guidance in their life. Now, we have to remember Sita as an avatar for great Devi comes to earth not just for the great battles, but to help each one of us, to be a presence in our life, to guide us through the challenges that we deal with in life. Her teachings are for us. And so many of the stories are about the grand picture, the battle in Lanka. But how did she guide the people around her? That is the real work in uplifting consciousness, because when an avatar takes birth, many great souls also incarnate to help them fulfill their mission and also to fulfill the last part of their karma. Many, many blessings are given to those who are born around the time of the great avatar. And such was the situation when Ram and Sita took birth. There were many great souls who was born there to help further the mission of uplifting consciousness. And so this is the story of how Sita guided the people in the village. And as you see, she had great love for village life, as did her father, Janak Baba, whose heart was in the villages. And Sita was very much a daughter of Janaka Baba. So the different aspects of her teaching, it's the yoga of gratitude, the yoga of love, the yoga of forgiveness, all of the aspects that we need to internalize in order to live a dharmic life. Now, because I'm a writer, I'm most comfortable reading rather than speaking, and so I had hoped to read sections from the book, just a few short stories about Sita, which I'll do later in this program. During our meditation, I'll read some of the stories about how Sita guided the people around her. So in writing this book, it was transformative for me. There's a whole chapter on the yoga of forgiveness. I had to look at my life and say, is there anybody I haven't forgiven? And if so, do it now. There's a whole chapter on the yoga of non-reaction and non-judgment. And as I was writing that, my country was going through turmoil. It was very hard not to react and not to judge. And I had to incorporate those teachings in my life and realize how difficult it is to practice non-reaction. And how are we to be in the face of what we call evil, in the face of those who are causing suffering? What is the correct course? How can we act without getting angry? How can we act without judgment? These are very complicated problems. And the book was a guide for me during that difficult time, which is ongoing. It's a teaching that's for a lifetime. It's not as if you, in a week, can conquer that. Because life brings you challenges continually, both in our personal and in our collective life. And if you think your personal life is sort of harmonious, what's happening in the world will intrude and easily rattle us. And so we need guidance on how are we going to navigate through this difficult time. The world is going through a transition with a lot of realignment and juggling going on. We're all affected by that. What are these teachings? And what I found is that the teachings of Ram and Sita are so relevant to today. They are here now, guiding us. It's just a matter of turning our mind and heart to them, being receptive to the teachings. So writing the book was transformative for me. And of course, the journey doesn't end. The journey continues. We never know what comes next, but all I know is that if we invoke the presence and mentally and emotionally live in the presence of the great ones, then we will see the path forward. So I hope to read some sections from the book a little later in the program. Thank you.
धन्यवाद. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर ए शॉर्ट नोट. आमे किछि समय परे विस्तृत भावरे पुस्तकटीर किछि अध्याय डेनाजी पढ़िबे, ताहा में तार रिफ्लेक्शंस देबे. वर्तमान से संक्षिप्त रे तांकर कृतज्ञता जाहिर कले पत्रीजी प्रति, एवं से यहाँ मध्य कहिले जे माता सीतांकर जो ग्राम प्रति एवं ग्राम्य जीवन प्रति तांकर जो तांकर भाव थिला, विशेष करी जहाँ से तांकर पिता जनकंक ठरू आनिथिले ताहा विषय किछि लिखा जाइछि. एवं ता सहित यहाँ आज जो शिक्षा दियाजिब ताहा केवल गोटे घंटा बा गोटे सप्ताह नुहे, ताहा संपूर्ण जीवन पाई, पूरा जीवन पाई, जहाँ कि आमे कल्चर करने को पड़िबो. एवं जेतेबेले हमर व्यक्तिगत जीवन एवं सामूहिक जीवन जहाँ से कहले पर्सनाल एवं कलेक्टिव लाइफ रिफ्लेक्शन ताहा, तेणु व्यक्तिगत जीवन जदि आमर समन्वय रे थिबो तेबे आमर सामूहिक जीवन मध्य समन्वय रे आसीबो. तेणु एई सुंदर भाबरे तार भी 22टी अध्याय रही. से विभिन्न अध्याय तार भिन्न भिन्न तार जहाँ वार्ता रही विशेष भाव में आगामी समय आम शुणा. से कहते जे किभली भाव में नॉन रिएक्ट एवं नॉन जजमेंट हो चलवा, प्रतिक्रिया देखाए न देखाई क्या शर्तमूलक भाव में विचार को नेबा नहीं, यह एक कठिनकर कार्य. यह एते सहज नुहे. आम प्रत्येक आम पत्रीजी कहते नो कंप्लेन नो जजमेंट. आम कहूचे आम शुणुचे मात्र कार्यकारी करवा एते सहज नुहे, कारण यह जीवन एक गणित जार मिशाण फेड़ाण गुणन हरण आमे करिबारे केते जीवन चली जाए केते जन्म चली जाए तेणु संक्षिप्त रे तांकर वक्तव्य पई आमे पुणी कृतज्ञता ज्ञापन करूछु। वर्तमान आमे अनुरोध करिबु जस्टिस डॉक्टर विद्युत रंजन षडंगी ऑनरेबल मेंबर नेशनल ह्यूमन राइट्स कमिशन पूर्वतन मुख्य विचारपति झारखंड न्यायालय उच्च न्यायालय आमे सहृदय आपण को स्वागत करूछु एवं आपण को ठारू किछि वक्तव्य सुनिबा पई आग्रह रखुछु।
जय जगन्नाथ प्रभु चरण में आश्रित हो मोर वक्तव्य आप रखा चाहूँ। एक्सट्रीम्ड मिसेस इप्सिता पुजारी मैनेजिंग ट्रस्ट ऑफ द ध्यानजोग ट्रस्ट and today's most celebrity Madam Dena Merriam, the eminent author, and her co-sister and Professor Dr. Vijay Kumar Mahapatra, the Dean College of Agriculture, on the dais, and off the dais, the dignitaries who are present here, and you all, the devotees of Guru. Jai Gurudev. Really, today is a very auspicious day for me because I have been invited to a place where I am to learn many things, and whatever learning I have got, I can share with you. That is the great privilege for me to have this opportunity to grab something from you and to utilize for the benefit of the society. Really, I am privileged, I am honored, and I am privileged because I have inherited the book written by Dena Merriam, who is a well-known author in her own field. She has written several books, such as founder of the Global Peace. She has written My Journey Through the Time, Untold Story of Sita, Rukmini and Turning of the Time, When the Bright Moon Rises, To Dance with the Donkeys. But if you go through all these books, if somebody has gone through, it reflects some religious culture of India. And I believe that India is such a country, it has contributed everything to the world, maybe in cultural field, maybe in religious field, maybe in psychological field, maybe in political field, whatever field is not it. Therefore, the contribution which has been given by the India has its own place. I am talking of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights 1948, which incorporates mostly 4 points, that is your equality, freedom, liberty and dignity. So those have been codified in 1948, but we are preaching from our inception itself. If you talk now today, you are talking about the untold story of Sita. What has happened to Ma Sita when she was kidnapped by Ravan, the king demon? By that time, the right of a lady is snatched away, and she is totally helpless, and she was kept in Ashokabana. But her chastity has not been touched because of the reason that she was glowing like anything, and that glowing has put Madam Merriam to keep in book form, and today we are reading it. That means the culture of India has transgressed its limit and gone to foreign countries. Though we are interested to imbibe something from foreign countries, there is no dispute on that question, that one should imbibe something good, not something bad. If therefore something good can be imbibed from foreign countries, there is no difficulties. But our culture is so strong, there is no need of going anywhere. Rather, you have to only cultivate, preach, and do whatever do best possible for today. And today we are so busy, at least we are not able to take a time to ourselves to do something better. Now we are having this dhyan yoga, karma yoga. Then whatever yoga you are going to do, that is the form of your own knowledge. But question is that are we able to satisfy ourselves that whatever we are getting is full of things? One may be doctor, one may be engineer, one may be agriculturist, whatever may be. What field he is working? Does he satisfied with that work? If answer is no, then what is the remedy available for that? The remedy may be that one must to have to dedicate himself to do certain work. Once dedication is there, certainly you will enjoy like anything. I am saying this thing with all emphasis, reason being that what do you mean by dedication? One may say that yes, I am every day praying Lord Jagannath. That is my dedication. All I do that, no problem for that. But dedication has to be dissolved within yourself, and connection must be made with you, with the Param Brahma. If that connection will there and dissolution will there, definitely will be a successful dhyan yogi. Therefore, once we have to go for some training, some learning, that learning and training should be in proper way. And as such, what I am saying, that if somebody wants to be a good doctor, dedicated himself to be a good doctor, no problem for him, and dedication not for earning money, but for serving to the people. Therefore, you will get mental satisfaction, even not today, tomorrow, or day after tomorrow. Ultimately, the aim will be, yes, I will serve the country, I will serve the people, I will get something benefit. Therefore, that necessity of one's involvement to get something is very, very important thing. Therefore, even today also, I am enjoying myself. Being a lawyer, I have got 27 years practice, and as a judge, I have devoted 11 years of service. Today, as a human rights member, I am also devoting myself for that. I am dissolving myself in my work, and that is why I get pleasure. May not have time to sit together, but only question is that how you get pleasure and how you be connected with this divine soul. That is very, very important thing. Walking with the Himalayan Master is a good book, and speaking with the Himalayan Master also, there are some books which are available of Swami Jagannath, and this Jagannath's literature is very strong about this issue, that you have to connect yourself with everybody. If I am here today, I may have some connection with Madam Merriam. Therefore, Madam Merriam have called me here through Ipsita. Therefore, the connection is very strong, and that is why I am here. The connection is being so strong that even if I have some, I do not find any time to come here, but Madam Merriam's spiritual connection is so strong, therefore she said, no, you must remain present to open my book. That is why I am here through Ipsita, and I believe myself that is a great, great connection between ourselves. And maybe she has come from UK, but I feel that she is amongst ourselves. Therefore, he is one of us. Today, we don't feel that she is away from us. She is with us and will be with us and continue to remain with us. And that is why you all are present here. And you are all been blessed by Madam Merriam, and his thinking about the Indian culture is very strong. And I believe that how could he able to collect those all informations and put it in writing form in a small book, and which is now we have innovated it. And I believe that these are the very, very emotional touch given to the book, and the emotion of a writer comes very spontaneously, which cannot be said in few words here. An emotion, connection, and one's dedication to the subject, to the words used therein, is very, very important thing. And I believe that she is blessed by Gurudev, and that is why she could able to write such books. And I hope and trust the Gurudev will definitely always bless her, so that we can get good books in near future. And I hope that she will go on writing about the Indian culture and Indian heritage and Indian understanding and our mind. And today what she has given us to show that how a village life influenced Sita to have a survival. That is a great thing for us, and that too I salute ma'am. Ma'am, you have given a very good book to us, and this presentation to us is a definitely one can be considered that one of the best literature for us, and maybe one psychological approach may be there, historical approach may be there, cultural approach must be there. Therefore, the thing is that we are all been privileged by Madam Merriam having these small books today which inaugurated Sita's yoga. Therefore, what I am trying to say all this thing because of the reason that why we are here. We are all preaching dhyanas. Everybody say that yes, I am devoting my time at least half an hour to sitting in sitting tight in one place, closing my eyes, thinking about the Almighty. But is it the way to succeed? Success is a total different thing altogether. Success is a thing which can be achieved only through your practice. If you have the practice, today, suppose I am saying that today I am sitting, closing my eyes, but I feel my minds are moving somewhere. Yeah, I have to go to Hyderabad, I have to go to Itanagar, I have to go to Pondicherry, I have to go to Chandigarh, I have some of this work. So by this process, your mind is flickering like anything. You don't focus on what you want to have the connection. The connection is different than that of the thing which you are thinking of. So closing and sitting in one place will not solve the purpose. Rather, you have to have the connection with everything, and the connection must be a devotional one, and the devotion must come by dissolving yourself. If you are dissolving yourself, then you can get the Lord Jagannath, you can get Lord Shiva, you can get Ma Durga, you can get everything, whatever you want, whatever you preach, whatever you understand your life. Therefore, the basic understanding of ourselves should be that let us connect ourselves to whatever we want, and that we must see that the connection must have a strong belief within ourselves, so that we can achieve many things and the success will run after us. We should not run after success. So if the success will run after us, then definitely the success which you want to get, that success will come only through your devotion, only through your understanding, and only through your practice, and only through your believing strong on something which you want to get the benefit. I have my own understanding so far as this Kriya Yoga lineage is concerned. Mahavatar Baba, then Lahiri Baba, then then this comes to the last Paramahansa Prajnanand Maharaj Ji. All have this lineage of the Kriya Yoga, but the lineage of Kriya Yoga is totally different than that of the things which we want to achieve, and that achievement should be through only your Karma Yoga, and the Karma is whatever today you are, you have to do yourself and practice yourself and get the benefit which you want to get through the culture. Therefore, the only request is that today we are assembly here for inauguration of Madam Merriam's book, but Madam Merriam have left behind many things within that book. Please go through that and understand yourself and utilize the same in your life, so that her writing will be successful and she will come out very happily saying that my connection with this book through God is absolutely essential, and for the timing it is very, very important thing. Therefore, it is a great thing for us, and the achievement is very strong. With these words, giving this opportunity to share with my views, I really, really thank Ifshida that she could able to trace me out to have this function today. Thank you.
मेरा तुझसे है पहले का नाता कोई, यूं ही नहीं मन लुभाता कोई. Nothing is just a coincidence. Everything is a divine plan, my dear friends. So in that order, our honorable chief guest has come with a divine plan by the divine grace. Definitely. କାହିଁକି ନା ସୁଦୂର ଦିଲ୍ଲୀରେ ସେ ରୁହନ୍ତି, ଏହା ଏକ ସଂଯୋଗ ନୁହେଁ, ଏକ ସଂଯୋଗ ନୁହେଁ, ତାହା ଏକ ଦିବ୍ୟ ମାର୍ଗଦର୍ଶନ. ତାଙ୍କର ଏଇଠିକି ଆସିବା, ଆମ ସାଙ୍ଗରେ ରହିବା निश्चित भाव में तांकर जो आम जो बाणी थिला ताहा भितरे जो एकता समन्वयर भाव जहाँ आमर बहु कालरू समस्त शास्त्र मानकर विदित अच्छी ताहा कौनसी नूतन तथ्य नुहे मात्र ताकू अंगीकार करिवार समय जुगोपयोगी सदा सर्वदा विशेषकर वर्तमान समय रे तेबे दुईटी जिनिस उपरे सार आपण आमक जो आलोकपात कले ताहा आमे निश्चित भाव में ग्रहण करूँ ताहा हेउची गोटे हेउची कनेक्शन एवं गोटे हेउची डिभोशन तेणु वास्तव में एठी जदि वाईफाई अच्छी बा आमर टीवी रे चैनल चलुची बा रेडियो रे आमे शुणीचे बा मोबाइल जदि आमे धरीचे सेतेबेले जाई कथा हेई पारुचे आमर प्रियजन व्यक्ति सहित जेतेबेले दुईटी जिनिस अच्छी ता भितरे आमर ठीक वेवलेंथ अच्छी आमे तांका संगे कनेक्ट हेई पारुचे तेबे जाई ता संगे आमे वार्तालाप करि पारुचे तेणु से डिवाइन सत्ता सहित से परम तत्व सहित जदि आमे एक हेबार कनेक्शन रो बाटटी पाई जाऊ आम चैनल टी खोली जाऊ एवं तांका सहित स्वतः प्रति मुहूर्त आमे आमना सामना कथा हला बली जेमिति दिव्य चक्षु थिबा मास्टर्स माने तांकर जो अनुभव भी जे तांकर अनुभव कहती प्रति क्षण प्रति मुहूर्त रे से सत्तारे ही थांती एवं ताकू ही अनुभव करू थांती तेणु आपणकर यही वार्ता निश्चित भाव में बहुत बहुत ग्रहणीय बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आमे कार्यक्रम को एक जोरदार करताली देबा ए सुंदर वक्तव्य पई मु अनुरोध करी वर्तमान आमे किछिटी पृष्ठा ए पुस्तक रु शुणिबा एवं तार रिफ्लेक्शंस नेबा डेना मैरियम को माध्यम रे
Well, I thought I would read 3 short stories from the book about Sita and Ram. So if you feel like closing your eyes and traveling back in time and to envision yourself seated before for those who've read Untold Story of Sita, they'll know Soma, the attendant of Sita, who tells many of the stories. So here she is telling a story of when Ram and Sita were wandering in the forest. Mata and Prabhu Ram were visiting hermitages and meeting sages on their journey after they were exiled from Ayodhya. During this time, they came to the hermitage of 2 sages, a husband and a wife, whom I will not name because they are quite well known and respected. The man was erudite, well versed in the Vedas, the mantras, and various subtle philosophies. He was known for winning all the debates with other sages. His wife was quiet, demure, and one could not discern her wisdom by speaking with her, as she most often spoke about mundane matters, such as what the students would eat that day, or how to accommodate the new students who were coming. When Sita and Ram met them, Sita had a natural affinity for the woman, but she was impressed by the husband's knowledge. They stayed with the couple for several days, and on the night before they were to depart, the husband indicated that he would like to have a philosophical debate with Sita, saying that he heard she attended many of the discourses held by her father with the most erudite sages. Ram perceived what was on his mind, that he believed he could outwit her, and he cautioned the sage, saying that Sita's wisdom was uncontested. The sage smiled and said he would like to try. The face of his wife lit up, and with a smile she encouraged the 2, thinking this was just what her husband needed. The 4 of them stayed up through the night as the sage and Sita discussed the subtle philosophical matters, such as the nature of reality and illusion, the nature of the self, how creation came to be, the unreality of space and time, as well as many other such topics. The man was clearly astonished by Sita's knowledge. Ram and the sage's wife sat there quietly listening to the discussion, with an occasional smile brushing across their lips. At the first blush of morning, Sita turned to the sage and said, "This will be my last question to you, and if you answer successfully, I will yield." The question she asked is, who is Ram? This man knew many things. He knew the power of the word and the vibration to manipulate matter. He knew how to bring the rains and chase away storms. He could calm the seas and peer into the furthest reaches of the heavens, interpreting the messages of the stars. At that night he had described all he saw and could do. But Sita saw that he was lacking one essential quality, and that was love. He couldn't answer the question. At first he described Ram's outer role and qualities, but Sita shook her head. Then she said she would frame the question another way, and she asked, if you had to choose between wisdom and love, which would you choose? Wisdom, of course, he responded immediately. How can one understand the universe or even one's own life without wisdom? Then he turned the question back to Sita, and she responded quietly, love, of course. How can one understand the universe or even oneself without love? One can have great knowledge, but there is no true wisdom without love. The sage chuckled and replied with great affection, "You have extraordinary wisdom, Sita, and yet you would choose love. I'm baffled by that because how can one advance without wisdom?" Sita returned to the original question and asked, "Now tell me, who is Ram?" This time the sage was thoughtful, and after several minutes he replied, "Ram is ultimate wisdom. He is the universal intelligence which guides and maintains all things." Sita then turned to the man's wife and asked her the same question, and she replied without a moment's thought, "Ram is the ultimate universal love. There is nothing greater in the universe than the love that is the source of divine magnetism, which upholds all the worlds and makes possible all manifestation. It is his love that creates, preserves, and transforms all that is, the ongoing process of ever-evolving, expanding love. That is Ram." Sita then perceived that Ram had come to her in dream the night before the debate and given her the experience of his being. Sita went over to her and with her hand touched the woman's feet. Then she said quietly, "I see my beloved has visited you and bestowed on you his grace." "There is no winner in this debate," interjected Ram, "for wisdom and love are the two pillars needed to know the divine. In truth, they are one and the same." Ram and Sita left the two sages later that day and didn't meet them again until years later. The woman left her physical form shortly before Mata did, but Mata in her astral body visited the woman before the sage passed, saying that she would grant the woman any boon she wanted. The woman asked that her husband experience divine love, and Mata said that Ram would ensure this. After the wife passed, her knowledgeable husband fell into a deep depression and came to see Ram. "How can I live without her?" he moaned. "She was the light of my life, the source of my strength, and I didn't know it until too late, until she was gone." Ram was truly surprised to see his state of mind and listened compassionately to the man. "I cannot live without her love," the man continued. "But you have so much knowledge," Ram replied. "Her departure made me realize that all the knowledge in the world cannot compare to the love she emanated. She lived in a state of deep peace and joy, and that is what nourished me all these years. I would give up all my knowledge to have her back." Ram reminded him of the debate from years earlier. Then he beckoned the wife who appeared in her astral body. She was glowing, beaming such love, and at that moment, Ram awakened him. the man's heart burst open, and he experienced what his wife had experienced all those years. Ram is the supreme love without which nothing could exist. That's a story from the chapter, The Yoga of Love. I'll read a short story from the chapter called The Yoga of Merging. About a year before Mata left her body, an old and rather frail woman from a village quite a distance away came to see us. So began Soma with a new story. She knew that her death was imminent and was concerned whether she would see her beloved Deva when she left her body. Her whole life had been devoted to Narayan, but she didn't know much about Ram. To her, he was simply the Maharaja. But shortly before she came to see Mata, she had a dream of Ram and saw his divine form. Recognizing him as an incarnation of her beloved Narayan, she developed an intense longing to see him in person, but she didn't know how this would be possible. She heard that the Maharani was living near the hermitage here, so she traveled all the way on her own, believing that the Maharani could help her realize her greatest desire. Mata said she was able to endure the long walk by repeating Ram's name the whole way. It took her several days of travel, but such was the intensity of her desire to see him before she died. When she arrived here, I saw tears gather in the corners of Mata's eyes as Mata warmly embraced and welcomed her. Later, Mata told me that she was a great soul who had been devoted to Narayan for many, many lifetimes. She said this woman didn't realize that Ram often visited her in his light body, but that she was unable to see him. Finally, he had come to her in dream so that she would recognize the human form of her beloved Deva. Mata served her food, and then the woman pleaded with her. If I could only set these physical eyes upon him once, I would gladly walk to Ayodhya, but how would I be able to enter the palace? That would never be possible for a simple woman, village woman like me, her voice trailed off. With a loving look, Mata explained, there is no need to go to Ram, for Ram comes to you. It is not necessary to travel, my dear, for the one you seek is here now. He has come to you many times, but you have failed to see him. Open your eyes now, and you will see him standing before you. At those words, the body of Prabhu Ram materialized, and this woman fell to her knees, draping her head over his feet in adoration. Mata later told me she had rarely seen such devotion, even from the Devatas. Then and there, this woman left her body, and we saw Prabhu Ram lift her spirit out of her human form and lead her away. She had doubted whether her beloved Narayan would be there to greet her in the celestial world, but he had come to take her over. Mata told me that after this woman's departure, she saw her many times in the celestial worlds in the presence of Narayan in the form of Ram, who was here and there and in many places. Her consciousness had merged with his, and she will never now be apart. Soma paused and then continued in a thoughtful tone. At that time, I wondered how that woman found her way to Mata. After reflecting on this, I realized that she just sat out, and her faith led her here, along with Mata's subtle guidance. It took her several days to reach us, and would have taken her many more days to reach Ayodhya. As it was, the trip wore her out, and she was at the end of her days when she reached here. I also wondered why Ram did not appear to her when she was in her village. That is a bit of a mystery, but I think it was because Mata had to remove the last veil that prevented her from seeing him. Ram could have done this, but he left it to Mata to reveal him. This is how they work together. After this experience, Mata told me, most people think that only those we consider great sages know him. But sometimes the great sages come disguised as everyday people, simple villagers. Always remember, more than knowledge, it is love that draws him magnetically, for he cannot resist the love of a devotee's heart. It is simply not possible, for that is one of the fundamental principles of the universe. This woman was such a one. She lived what you might call a quite ordinary life. She married, raised children, and did her chores, but inwardly her mind was always on Narayan, since the memory of him stayed with her through birth and the taking on of a human form. She didn't forget him, and of course he never forgot her. It is the heart that draws the great ones to us, and it is the heart that overcomes separation and realizes union. All the knowledge in the world can't achieve this. The great ones respond to our love, and even if we temporarily forget, they come to remind us. I don't know if we have time for one more story. Yeah? Okay. This is a story from the chapter, The Yoga of Gratitude. Okay, this is Soma speaking. I will tell you a story of something that happened not long ago. A villager named Kalam came to the hermitage near where we live to meet the sage and offer a donation. This man wasn't interested in learning, but he thought it would help his reputation if he spoke about his acquaintance with the sage, and Kalam foolishly believed he could purchase his goodwill. Soma paused and chuckled, then added, clearly he knew nothing about Guruji, who was aware this man was coming and made sure to be away at that time. One of the students of the hermitage explained that the Guru was in retreat and couldn't meet him, but he sent him to Mata, saying, there's a very wise woman who lives in a cottage down the path. You must meet her before you return home. Of course, this man didn't know that she is the Maharani. Kalam thought she was simply some woman who lived near the hermitage, and he had no interest in meeting her. But he also didn't want to ignore the request of the student, so he came to us, but with a bit of an attitude. Mata never turns anyone away, so she invited him to join us for the afternoon meal. He was a rather cranky man, and all the while as we were cooking, he began to complain about one thing or another in his life. His health, his wife and children. He even complained about the Guru, saying how rude it was of him to go off on a retreat when he must have known the man was coming to the hermitage to offer a donation. He seemed to find fault with everyone and everything. I was curious as to how Mata would deal with him. She told me to take care of the rest of the meal preparation and went to sit with him, listening patiently to all he had to say. When I served him the meal, he complained about that too, saying it was too spicy and was burning his mouth. I winced when he said that, because Mata herself prepared all the spices. Mata's response was simply, we will do better next time. I hoped that there wouldn't be a next time, because he was quite a negative sort, and I was eager to be rid of him. But after the meal, when he made a move to depart, Mata asked him to accompany us, as we would take the remaining food to a man we knew who lived nearby. I was sure he would decline, but for some reason he acquiesced, although rather reluctantly. It was only when we arrived at Badari's hut that I understood Mata's intention. The man we were visiting was well known to us, since we often brought him food. He was quite elderly, lived in a broken-down hut, had failing eyesight, and lived alone since his wife died some years earlier, and his children lived in a distant town. Despite his hardships, and there were many, he was one of the most cheerful people you would ever meet, filled with gratitude for every little thing. As soon as we entered, he told Mata how grateful he was for her visit and the food, declaring that he never tasted such wonderful food as hers. Your food heals me of every ill, he exclaimed with beaming eyes. Then he said, how fortunate I am that you, Mata, give such care to a poor soul like me. You, a poor soul, Mata exclaimed with a grin. The wealth of the world lies at your fingertip, and yet you choose none of it. You choose only the wealth of your heart, which is overflowing. Mata had once asked him if he wanted her to heal his eyes and restore his sight, but he replied that he saw her, and that was all he needed to see. Mata explained to me that he had inner sight, and she said that all his conditions could change if he wanted it to be so. But he has no desire to change anything about his life, she told me. He is happy with whatever comes because he has awakened to his inner self, where there is only perfection. Mata herself laid out the food and served him. Again, he expressed his gratitude. Kalam sat there silently observing the scene with a sour expression on his face. At one point he whispered to me, this man is nearly blind and feeble and lives in a hut that is barely standing. He has nothing to be grateful for. Overhearing the comment, the man turned to him and replied in a joyful voice with eyes that sparkled despite his poor vision. I am alive and feel the love of the universe throbbing in my heart. What more is there to ask for? I have gratitude beyond what words can express. After some time, we left Badari and parted ways with Kalam. I thought we were done with the man, but he came to see us a few weeks later. Again, Mata sat with him while he complained about one thing or another. I cooked the afternoon meal and served him, and once again he complained about the food, saying this time that it had no flavor, no spice to it at all. Nothing had changed in our food preparation. The spices were the same, but he had a different perception and managed to find fault. Next time we will do better, Mata patiently expressed in response to his complaints. Are you going to bring food to that man, he asked. Mata nodded, and he said he would accompany us. After we arrived and Mata served the food to Badari, and after he again expressed his gratitude, Kalam asked him a question. The food has no flavor to it, so why are you praising it? You obviously have lost your sense of taste. Smiling, Badari replied, Mata's food is always perfect. Whether it has taste or not, I cannot say, but through this food she feeds me love. And it is her love, the love of the universe, that keeps me alive. For that I am forever grateful. Fool, Kalam whispered under his breath. Kalam began coming regularly every few weeks, and each time Mata offered him food with the same spices that we always used, and each time he found a different fault with the cooking. Finally, one day, he showed up, and after Mata fed him, he merely mumbled something as he ate the food without issuing any complaint. We understood that his attitude was changing. He asked to accompany us as we brought food to Badari, but this time, as we sat speaking with a friend, I saw Kalam studying the hut and all the areas that needed repair. Before leaving, in a rather gruff tone, he offered to fix Badari's roof, which was leaking, and thus began the transformation. Over the course of months, Kalam went many times to Badari's hut to repair one thing or another, and he ended up visiting him often without us. One day, when we visited our friend, Badari said to Mata, I am most grateful that you brought Kalam to me, for I recognize him as a son from the distant past, and we had unfinished matters between us. He now comes quite often to fix one thing or another. Even when nothing needs to be repaired, he finds some visit to visit, and he's become far more attentive than my own children. You know, I don't care about a leaky roof or any such matter, but we talk, and I'm grateful for that. He has a difficult life, and he comes to me with all his complaints. I try to help him see the brighter side, and I'm grateful if I can uplift him even a little bit. You have done more than a little bit, my friend, Mata replied. I have seen the transformation in his character, and you are part of the reason. The gratitude that you have always expressed has changed his attitude toward life. Well, those two became dear friends, continued Soma, and after Badari left his physical form, Kalam came to see us. Mata sat with him for a while, and he didn't utter one complaint, not even the suggestion of a negative thought. Our dear Bidari, under Mata's guidance, had taught him the yoga of gratitude, and he became a changed man. Before leaving us that day, Kalam looked at Mata with tears in his eyes and said, "How grateful I am that you came into my life and introduced me to Bidari. Knowing that I was able to be of some service to him has given me great pleasure. No one ever listened to me or appreciated my situation the way he did. I will miss him terribly." After Kalam departed, Mata explained that he owed a debt to Bidari from the past, and it was one that contributed to his negative outlook on life. Mata knew that Bidari would help him pay off that debt and overcome this negative trait that has now been accomplished. Mata's teaching was not only for Kalam, but also for me, because she saw my lack of patience and how quick I was to judge. Without saying a word, without a single reprimand, she helped me to see what I was lacking. How many times I complained to her about Kalam, saying that I wished he would never visit again. At such times, she would only smile and tell me to watch what would unfold. That is how she teaches us, quietly, subtly, without one even noticing. She opens your heart. Once she told me that by practicing the yoga of gratitude, the heart opens and love flows. It enables that deep transformation without which we cannot see things as they truly are. So those are just a few short stories from the book. I hope they brought you into the presence of Sita and Prabhu Ram.
ଯେଉଁମାନଙ୍କୁ ତଳେ ବସିବା ପାଇଁ ସ୍ଥାନ ମିଳୁନାହିଁ ଗ୍ୟାଲେରୀରେ ବସିପାରିବେ। ମୁଁ ଆମର ଭଲେଣ୍ଟିୟର୍ସକୁ ଅନୁରୋଧ କରିବି ସେଠି କିଛି ଚେୟାର ଆଉ କିଛି ପାଇଁ ବ୍ୟବସ୍ଥା କରିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ। ଯେଉଁମାନେ ଆମର ଅତିଥି ଅଛନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ କାଇଣ୍ଡଲି ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଏ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟକ୍ରମ ଅନ୍ତିମ ପ୍ରହରକୁ ଆସିଲାଣି, ତ କାଇଣ୍ଡଲି ଗୋଟେ ଫ୍ରଣ୍ଟ ରୋ ଟିକେ ସ୍ପେସ୍ ଦେବେ। ଆମ ଅତିଥିମାନେ ମଞ୍ଚ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ବସନ୍ତୁ, ଯେତେବେଳେ ଯିବେ ସେତେବେଳେ ଛାଡ଼ିବେ, ଟିକେ ସ୍ପେସ୍ ଦେବେ। ଆମର ଯେଉଁ ଭାଇ ଭଉଣୀମାନେ ଆସିଛନ୍ତି ଦୂର ଦୂରାନ୍ତରୁ, କେହି ଚାହୁଁଛନ୍ତି କି ଯେ ଯାହା ଡେନା ମେରିୟମ୍ ଜି କହିଲେ ତାକୁ ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ ଶୁଣିବା ପାଇଁ? ତେବେ ହାତ ଟେକନ୍ତୁ। ଓକେ, କାରଣ ମୁଁ ପ୍ରଥମରୁ କ୍ଷମା ମାଗି ନେଉଛି ଯେ ଯେଉଁ ଶବ୍ଦର ଯେଉଁ ଉର୍ଜା ଥିଲା, ସେ ଶବ୍ଦର ଉର୍ଜାକୁ ସମସ୍ତେ ନିଶ୍ଚିତ ଭାବରେ ଆକଣ୍ଠ ପାନ କରିଥିବେ। ସ୍ୱତଃ ତାଙ୍କର ଶବ୍ଦରେ ଏକ ଯେଉଁ ଆମେ ସମସ୍ତେ ନିଶ୍ଚିତ ଭାବରେ ସେ ଅନୁଭବ କରିଥିବା ସେ ଭାଇବ୍ରେସନ୍କୁ, ସେ ଫ୍ରିକ୍ୱେନ୍ସିକୁ। ଏଠାରେ ମୋର ଅନୁଭବ ଗୋଟେ ଛୋଟ କହୁଛି ଯେ ଇଶିତା ୟୋଗା ବହିଟି ମୁଁ ପାଇବା ପାଇଁ ଆଶା କରିଥିଲି ଏବଂ 2 ଦିନ ତଳେ ପୁସ୍ତକଟି ଆସି ମୋ ପାଖରେ ପହଞ୍ଚିଲା। ଅଲରେଡ଼ି ଆମାଜନରେ ଆଭେଲେବୁଲ୍ ଅଛି। ପୁସ୍ତକଟି ଖୋଲିଲା କ୍ଷଣି ସେଥିରେ 2 ଧାଡ଼ି ମୋ ପାଇଁ ସେ ସ୍ନେହରେ ଲେଖିଛନ୍ତି, ଡିଅର୍ ଇପ୍ସିତା, ମେ ଦ ଲଭ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ବ୍ଲେସିଂସ୍ ଅଫ୍ ସୀତା ମା ଗ୍ରେସ୍ ୟୋର୍ ଲାଇଫ୍ and may you serve her through all. That is the bottom line, through all. So my dear friends, ବହିଟି ଧରିବା କ୍ଷଣି ମୁଁ ଅନାୟାସରେ ଗୋଟେ ଧ୍ୟାନର ସ୍ଥିତିକୁ ଚାଲି ଯାଇଥିଲି, ଯେଉଁଠାରେ ମୁଁ ନିଜକୁ ଅନେକ ସମୟ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ସ୍ଥିର କରିପାରିଲି ନାହିଁ, କିନ୍ତୁ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟ ପାଇଁ ନିଜକୁ ଧ୍ୟାନ ସ୍ଥିତିରୁ ଫେରି ଆସିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିଲା। ବୋଧହୁଏ ରହିଥିଲେ ମୋ ଭିତରେ ଅନ୍ୟ କିଛି ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସଫର୍ମେସନ୍ ସେଇ ମୁହୂର୍ତ୍ତରେ ହୋଇଯାଇଥାନ୍ତା। ତ ଆସିବା ସର୍ବପ୍ରଥମେ ସେ ଏଇ ପୁସ୍ତକରେ 24ଟି ଅଧ୍ୟାୟ ରହିଛି, 24ଟି ଛୋଟ ଛୋଟ ଅଧ୍ୟାୟ ଯେଉଁଥିରେ ବିଭିନ୍ନ କାହାଣୀ ରହିଛି। ସର୍ବପ୍ରଥମେ 19 ନମ୍ବର ଅଧ୍ୟାୟରେ ଦ ୟୋଗା ଅଫ୍ ଲଭ୍ ମାଧ୍ୟମରେ से सेठारे कहउचंती जे माता सीता एवं रामचंद्र जेतेबेले वनवास को जाइतिले विभिन्न तांकर सौभाग्य थिला विभिन्न मुनि ऋषिंकर आश्रम को जाई सेठारे तांक सहित वार्तालाप करथिले रहुतिले एवं सेही भली एक कहानी से कहउचंती जोठारे से साधुंकर ना एठारे से व्यक्त करू नाहंती कारण से जने विशिष्ट साधु तो माता सीता एवं श्री रामचंद्र से साधु दंपतिंकर आश्रम रे एक रात्रि यापन करूचंती जोठारे से जानिचंती तांक भितरे वार्तालाप कला बेले से साधु जनक जानिचंती जे माता सीता हेउचंती जने साध्वी जने विज्ञान महिला तांको ठारू तांको सहित किटी तर्क करी जीति जीवा पई चाहुचंती सेही लालसारे से कहउचंती जे आमे जीवार पूर्व रात्रि रे आमे किछि तत्व चर्चा करिबा तांकर लालसा आजिर तत्व चर्चा रे मो माता सीता को जदि परास्त करि देबी ता जानि पारी तांकर पत्नी स्मिता हास्य देउचंती कहउचंती एवं मने मने तांकर से भावना रहउची जे ये कौन भावना ये कि मूर्खामी एवं ता सत्वे से सहमति हेउचंती माता सीता एवं रामचंद्र सेठी प्रकाश करूचंती जे माता सीता हेउचंती महान साधिका महान विज्ञा तांक संगे तर्क करिवार चेष्टा करिवार आवश्यकता नाही मात्र से सेठारे से तर्क पई प्रस्तुत होइचंती एवं सारा राति तांकर विभिन्न तात्विक प्रश्नर चर्चा चलीची ता भितरे गोटे प्रश्न जहाँ माता सीता तांकु शेष प्रश्न बोली कहिचंती जे एहा मो तरफरु आपणक पई शेष प्रश्न रामचंद्र किए राम किए ए राम किए रे से किछि समय अप्रस्तुत होई जायंती एवं से तांकर किछि बाहिक गुणावली को प्रकाश करने को लगी रामंकर गुणावली को एवं ताहा सेथिरे से सेथिरे सहमति प्रकाश करना एवं से तापरे ताकु प्रश्नटी को बुलेई पचारि जे अच्छा कहतु जदि दुईटी आपण को दिया जाए जे विजडम एवं लव बा प्रेम एवं ज्ञान ए दुईटी भितर आपण केउटी को बाछि नेबे से कहउचंती ज्ञान ऑफ कोर्स जदि ज्ञान नथिबो आमे संसार को जानिबा पूर्वरु जदि आम पाखरे हमर स्वयं र निज विषय भी ज्ञान नथिबो तेबे आमे दुनिया को जिनिबा किपरि तेणु आमको ज्ञान सबुठारु महान ज्ञान को से अधिक महत्व देइचंती सेही समय रे से कहउचंती जे मूलरू कही रखिली तांकर ऊर्जा रे बोही गला बेले मु केउठारे छाड़ी जाई पारे मोर शब्दर सुअ को से सेठारे हाँ से कहउचंती मुनि जनक कहउचंती जे से होचंती परम ज्ञान जेहेतु सेही सर्वव्यापी प्रज्ञा सेही सर्वव्यापी प्रज्ञा जहाँ समस्त को मार्गदर्शन देउछि सीता मुनिपत्नी आड़ को चाह पचारुचंती एवं तुरंत उत्तर देउचंती से जेतेबेले स्वामी को पचारुचंती से परम ज्ञान कहउचंती जेतेबेले पत्नी आड़ पचारुचंती ऋषि पत्नी आड़ को से कहउचंती परम प्रेम तेणु ब्रह्मांडर से सर्वव्यापी प्रेम ठारू अधिक बड़ बा महत्वपूर्ण किछि नाही जहाँ से ही उच्चर दिव्य आकर्षण से ही प्रेम ही होउची सृष्टि संरक्षण एवं परिवर्तन करैबार स्रोत ताहा ही राम सीता जानी पारिले राम निश्चित भाव पर काली तांको स्वप्न रे जाई तांको अस्तित्वर ज्ञान को तांको देइचंती एवं सीता तांकर चरण स्पर्श करूचंती एवं जानी पारुचंती मो प्रिय आपणक पाखक जाई आपणक कृपा प्रदान करिचंती कारण तांको कृपा बिना से जो शब्द कहउचंती ताहा संभव नुहे एही तर्क रे शेष रे रामचंद्र कहउचंती ए तर्क रे केही विजयी नुहंती कारण ज्ञान एवं प्रेम उभय हेउची दुईटी स्तंभ से ही दिव्यता को जानिबा पाई बोली यह राम कहउचंती वास्तव रे तेणु दुहे एक राम सीता एक से ज्ञान एवं प्रेम एक राम सीता से दिन से दुई जन को छाड़ी गले एवं से दिन परे से माने पुनर्बार बहुत दिन पर्यंत देखा हे नहांती किंतु सीता तांकर शरीर त्याग करिबार किछि समय पूर्व किछि वर्ष पूर्व मुनिपत्नींकर बहुत शरीर तांकर असुस्थ हो जाइए एवं से सेतेबेले चाहिए जे तांको स्वामी को से दिव्य प्रेमर अनुभव हेउ कारण से ज्ञान को महत्व देते एवं से प्रेम तत्व को से बुझी पारचंती से आज पर्यंत बुझी पारि नांती से चाहिए जे मो स्वामी को से दिव्य प्रेमर अनुभूति हो सीता सेथिरे तांको ए सबु जिनिस हेउची सूक्ष्म भाव रे ध्यानी माने निश्चित भाव रे जानि पारुथिबे जे एस्ट्रल वर्ल्ड रे लाइट बॉडी रे जाई कनेक्ट हेबा तांको से ज्ञान देबा सीधा से सहमति प्रकाश करिसंती एवं रामଙ୍କ कृपारु ताहा निश्चित हबा बोली जणाइसंती। तेणु मुनि जनक तांको पत्नी को हराबा ଏହା ପରେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଆଶ୍ୱାସନା ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ତାପରେ ତାଙ୍କ ପତ୍ନୀ ଦେହତ୍ୟାଗ କରିଛନ୍ତି। ତାଙ୍କ ଦେହତ୍ୟାଗ କଲା ପରେ ମୁନି ଜଣକ ଅତ୍ୟନ୍ତ ଯେଉଁ ତାଙ୍କ ପତ୍ନୀକୁ ହରାଇ ସେ ଦୁଃଖଗ୍ରସ୍ତ ହୋଇଛନ୍ତି, ଭାଙ୍ଗି ପଡ଼ିଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ବହୁତ ଭାବରେ ସେ ଯେଉଁ ଦୁଃଖରେ ସେ ବ୍ୟସ୍ତ ବିବ୍ରତ ହୋଇଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ବାରମ୍ବାର କହୁଛନ୍ତି ମୁଁ ଆଉ ବଞ୍ଚିପାରିବି ନାହିଁ, ମୁଁ ତାଙ୍କ ପ୍ରେମ ବିନା ବଞ୍ଚିପାରିବି ନାହିଁ। ସେତେବେଳେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ରାମ କହୁଛନ୍ତି କାହିଁକି, ଆପଣଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ତ ବହୁତ ଜ୍ଞାନ ଅଛି, ଆପଣଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ବହୁତ ଜ୍ଞାନ ଅଛି, ଆପଣ କାହିଁକି ବଞ୍ଚିପାରିବେ ନାହିଁ। ସେ ମୁନି କହୁଛନ୍ତି ପତ୍ନୀଙ୍କ ଚାଲିଯିବା ପରେ ମୁଁ ଜାଣିପାରିଛି ବ୍ରହ୍ମାଣ୍ଡର ସମସ୍ତ ଜ୍ଞାନ ତାଙ୍କ ଭଲ ପାଇବା ସାମ୍ନାରେ ତୁଚ୍ଛ ଅଟେ। ସେ ଅତ୍ୟନ୍ତ ଶାନ୍ତି ଓ ଆନନ୍ଦରେ ଥିଲେ, ତାହା ହିଁ ତାଙ୍କର ପୋଷଣ ଥିଲା। ବ୍ୟାକୁଳ ହୋଇ କହିଲେ ମୋର ସମସ୍ତ ଜ୍ଞାନକୁ ବଦଳରେ ପତ୍ନୀଙ୍କ ସ୍ନେହକୁ ମୁଁ ଫେରେଇ ପାଇବାକୁ ଚାହେଁ। ରାମ ତାଙ୍କୁ ସେହି ତର୍କ ବିଷୟରେ ମନେ ପକାଇଦେଲେ। ରାମ ହାତ ଠାରି ଡାକିବାରୁ ତାଙ୍କ ପତ୍ନୀଙ୍କ ସୂକ୍ଷ୍ମ ଶରୀର ଆସିଲା, ଯାହା ପ୍ରେମର ଆଭାରେ ଝଲସି ଉଠୁଥିଲା। ସେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେ ତାଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ ସେ ପ୍ରେମ ପାଇଁ ବ୍ୟାକୁଳତା ଜାଗ୍ରତ ହେଇଛି ଏବଂ ତାଙ୍କୁ ମନେ ପକାଇ ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ତମେ କ'ଣ ଚିନ୍ତା କରୁଥିଲ। ସେ ତାଙ୍କର ଯେତେବେଳେ ସ୍ତ୍ରୀଙ୍କର ଲାଇଟ୍ ବଡି ଆସିଛି ଏବଂ ସେ ପୁରା ଫୁଲ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଲାଇଟ୍ ସେ ଠିଆ ହେଇଛନ୍ତି, ତାହା ତାଙ୍କର ହୃଦୟ ଚକ୍ରକୁ ସ୍ପର୍ଶ କରିଛି ଏବଂ ସତେ ଯେମିତି ତାଙ୍କ ହୃଦୟ ଏକ ବିସ୍ଫୋଟ ହେଇଛି ଏବଂ ତାଙ୍କ ହୃଦୟରେ ଯେଉଁ ପ୍ରେମର ସ୍ରୋତ ତାହା ସେ ଅନୁଭବ କରିପାରିଛନ୍ତି, ତାର ଜାଗ୍ରତ ସେ କରିପାରିଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ସେ ଅନୁଭବ କରିପାରିଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ଯାହା ତାଙ୍କ ପତ୍ନୀ ଏତେ ବର୍ଷ ଧରି ଅନୁଭବ କରି ଆସୁଥିଲେ। ତେଣୁ ଏହି କାହାଣୀଟି ହେଉଛି ଦ ୟୋଗା ଅଫ୍ ଲଭ୍। ଦ ୟୋଗା ଅଫ୍ ଲଭ୍ ଆମ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ ଭଲ ପାଇବାର ବୀଜଟିକୁ ବପନ କରି ତାକୁ ହିଁ ସ୍ଫୁରିତ କରି ତାକୁ ହିଁ ସଞ୍ଚିତ କରି ଚତୁର୍ଦିଗରେ ସେହି ହିଁ ଭଲ ପାଇବାର ଊର୍ଜାକୁ ଚତୁର୍ଦିଗକୁ ବିଚ୍ଛୁରିତ କରିବା ପାଇଁ। ତାପରେ ଡେନା ମେରିୟମ୍ ଜି ଚାପ୍ଟର 20 ବିଂଶତମ ଅଧ୍ୟାୟ ଅଧ୍ୟୟନ କରିଥିଲେ। ତାହା ଆଉ ଗୋଟିଏ ଘଟଣା କହିବାକୁ ସେ ସେଠାରେ ଚାହୁଁଛନ୍ତି, ଯେଉଁଠାରେ ସୀତାମାତା ତାଙ୍କ ଶରୀର ତ୍ୟାଗ କରିବା ପୂର୍ବରୁ ଗୋଟିଏ କ୍ଷୀଣ ଅତି ଶରୀର ଦୁର୍ବଳ ମହିଳା ତାଙ୍କ ପାଖକୁ ଚାଲି ଆସିଥିଲେ। ସେ ମହିଳା ଜଣଙ୍କ ନାରାୟଣଙ୍କର ଭକ୍ତ ଥିଲେ। ସେ ତାଙ୍କର ମୃତ୍ୟୁ ପୂର୍ବରୁ ଥରୁଟିଏ ତାଙ୍କର ପ୍ରିୟ ଭଗବାନ ନାରାୟଣଙ୍କୁ ଦର୍ଶନ କରିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଥିଲେ। ବୃଦ୍ଧା ଜାଣିଥିଲେ ତାଙ୍କର ଆସନ୍ନ ମୃତ୍ୟୁ ହୋଇଯିବ, କିନ୍ତୁ ଗୋଟିଏ ଥର ତାଙ୍କର ସେ ଆରାଧ୍ୟକୁ ଦେଖନ୍ତେ। ସେ ଏଟା ଜାଣିନଥିଲେ ଯେ ନାରାୟଣ ତାଙ୍କ ପାଖକୁ ଅନେକ ଥର ଆସିଛନ୍ତି, ସେ ତାଙ୍କ ଆଖିରେ ତାକୁ ଦେଖିପାରୁନାହାନ୍ତି। ତେଣୁ ତାଙ୍କୁ ସେ ଗୋଟେ ଥର ସ୍ୱପ୍ନରେ ନାରାୟଣ ଆସି ରାମଙ୍କ ରୂପରେ ଦର୍ଶନ ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ସେ ଜାଣିପାରୁଛନ୍ତି ନାରାୟଣ ଏବଂ ରାମ ହେଉଛନ୍ତି ଅଭିନ୍ନ। ତାପରେ ତାଙ୍କର ଇଚ୍ଛା ଜାଗ୍ରତ ହେଇଛି ରାମଚନ୍ଦ୍ରକୁ ଦେଖିବା ପାଇଁ। ତେଣୁ ସେ ଧାଇଁ ଆସିଛନ୍ତି ବହୁ ଦୂରରୁ, ଅନେକ ଦିନ ଲାଗିଛି ତାଙ୍କୁ ସେ ରାସ୍ତାରେ ପଥ ଅତିକ୍ରମ କରି ଆସି ରାମଙ୍କର ଦର୍ଶନ କରିବେ। କିନ୍ତୁ ରାମ ତ ରାଜ ଉଆସରେ ଅଛନ୍ତି, ରାମଚନ୍ଦ୍ରଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ପହଞ୍ଚିବେ କିଭଳି? ସେ ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି ପାଖରେ ଗୋଟେ ଆଶ୍ରମ ଅଛି, ସେ ଆଶ୍ରମରେ ମାତା ସୀତା ରହୁଛନ୍ତି। ତ ମହାରାଣୀଙ୍କୁ କହିଲେ ନିଶ୍ଚିତ ଭାବରେ ମହାରାଜଙ୍କର ଦର୍ଶନର ଲାଳସା ପୂର୍ଣ୍ଣ ହୋଇପାରିବ। ସେଇ ଆଶାରେ ସେ ମହାରାଜକୁ ଭେଟ କରିବାର ଆଶାରେ ସେ ଫେରି ଆସିଛନ୍ତି ମାତା ସୀତାଙ୍କ ପାଖକୁ ଏବଂ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଦେଖି ମାତା ସୀତା ଭାବବିହ୍ୱଳ ହୋଇ ତାଙ୍କୁ ସ୍ୱାଗତ କରୁଛନ୍ତି, ତାଙ୍କୁ ଖାଦ୍ୟ ପରସୁଛନ୍ତି। ସେ ରାମଙ୍କୁ ଦେଖିବାର ଇଚ୍ଛା ପ୍ରକାଶ କରିବାରୁ ମାତା ସୀତା କହିଲେ ରାମ ତମକୁ ଦେଖା କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଅଯୋଧ୍ୟା ଯିବାର ଆବଶ୍ୟକତା ନାହିଁ। ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ମୁଁ ରୁଗ୍ଣ, ମୁଁ ତାଙ୍କ ରାମଙ୍କୁ ଦେଖିବାକୁ ଚାହେଁ, ମୁଁ ଅଯୋଧ୍ୟା କିପରି ଯିବି? ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ରାମଙ୍କୁ ଦେଖିବା ପାଇଁ ଅଯୋଧ୍ୟା ଯିବା ଦରକାର ନାହିଁ, ଏହି କ୍ଷଣି ଏହି ମୁହୂର୍ତ୍ତରେ ରାମଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ତମକୁ ଦେଖାଦେବେ। ତେଣୁ ସେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଆଖି ବନ୍ଦ କରନ୍ତୁ ଏବଂ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ସାମ୍ନାରେ ରାମଙ୍କୁ ବୋଲି କହି ତାଙ୍କୁ କହିଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ସତକୁ ସତ ସେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆଖି ବନ୍ଦ କରିଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ଆଖି ଖୋଲିଛନ୍ତି ସେ ରାମଙ୍କର ଶରୀରକୁ ଦେଖିପାରିଛନ୍ତି। ପ୍ରଭୁ ନାମଙ୍କର ଆଭାକୁ ଦେଖି ବୃଦ୍ଧା ଜଣକ ଭକ୍ତିରେ ମୁଣ୍ଡିଆ ମାରିଛନ୍ତି, ନମ୍ବ ହୋଇପଡ଼ିଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ସେହି କ୍ଷଣ ସେହି ମୁହୂର୍ତ୍ତରେ ସେହିଠାରେ ଶରୀର ତ୍ୟାଗ କରିଦେଇଛନ୍ତି। ତେଣୁ ରାମଙ୍କର ତାଙ୍କର ଆତ୍ମାର ସେ ଉଦ୍ଧାର କରିଛନ୍ତି। ତାଙ୍କର ଯେଉଁ ସନ୍ଦେହ ଥିଲା ଯେ ପ୍ରିୟ ନାରାୟଣ ମୃତ୍ୟୁ ପରେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଭେଟିବେ କି ନାହିଁ, ମାତ୍ର ସେ ସ୍ୱୟଂ ନାରାୟଣ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଆସି ତାଙ୍କର ହାତ ଧରି ତାଙ୍କୁ ସେଇ ଉପର ଲୋକକୁ ନେଇ ଯାଇଥିଲେ ଏବଂ ରାମଙ୍କ ସହ ସେ ବିଲୀନ ହୋଇଗଲେ। ଏଠି ସୋମା जो मैंने सीतायन पढ़ी से मैंने जानी सोमार चरित्र को एठी सोमा कहते आश्चर्य लगुच से वृद्धा जनिक माता पाखक पहुँचले किभली से एत दिन अयोध्या थे तो रामचंद्र पाखक कहीं न गले बोध हुए ये से माता अयोध्यांकर माँ सीता माध्यम राम को पाइबार थिला तेणु कहा माध्यम कौन कार्य हुए कारण राम एवं सीता अभिन्न से माने से भली भाव ही कार्य करती माता सीता प्रच्छद भाव सैडो भाव शक्ति भाव रामंकर समस्त कार्य को संपादन करती एवं तार अनेक गुड़े कहानी आम द अनटोल्ड स्टोरी ऑफ सीतारे जानिचे तेणु यही से एठारे एठारे लेखा हुई जे आमे भाबू जे मुनि ऋषि गुण केवल साधना फल से ब्रह्म तत्व को लाभ करी पारंती किंतु से भले नुहे जने साधारण महिला एठारे जो कहानी रे अछि जने साधारण महिला साधारण जीवन यापन करी जंजाल रे रही घर कार्य करी परिवार पोषण करी तार प्रत्येक मुहूर्त रे किंतु तार मनटी लीन रही से प्रभु पादरे से रामंक पादरे तेणु से श्रद्धा फल रे तार जेकोसी व्यक्ति तार चित्त निवेदन जदि करिछि प्रभुंक पादरे ताकू ताकू निश्चित भाव से ताकू प्राप्त करि पारिबो से एकत्व को अनुभव करि पारिबो पूरा ब्रह्मांडर ज्ञान जहाँ करि पारिबो नाही ताकू केवल केवल प्रेमर सत्ता प्रेमर तत्व निश्चित भाव करि पारिबो तेणु प्रेम माध्यम जड़े निजर चेतना तांक सहित एकाकार करि पारे जेते बेले भल पाइबा बढ़ी जाए अपरटी लोप पारी जाए द्वितीय कहीं नताए से एक हो जाए भक्त भगवान एक हो जाए जेमिति राम एवं से वृद्धांकर मिलन ए विलीन हो जाते वृद्धा जनक से ही से एकत्व आमे जहाँ समस्त प्राणींकर आशा एवं आकांक्षा जहाँ आम भितर जागृतिर स्पंदन भरी दिए जहाँ आमर प्रकृतर घर पाखे आमको पहुँच आवर ओन होम जो आमको पहुँचाई दिए से घर जो आम आसी अच्छे आम ही स्थिति रे मनीष जीवन किपरि अतिबाहित करुची यह आमर चेतनार स्थिति उपर निर्भर करे जदि तमर चेतना पूर्ण भाव में राम बा सीता उपर रही तेबे तमे तांक संगरे एक हो जाओ जदि बाह्य पदार्थ रे थाए तेबे तमे सेठारे थाओ यह कही सोमा आखि बंद करी ध्यानस्थ हो जाउछंती एवं समय कथा भूली जाउछंती एवं अन्य माने तांकरे लंबा पथ अतिक्रम करिवार अछि जानि तांको छाड़ी जाउछंती यह थिला द्वितीय गल्पटी तृतीय गल्प शेष गल्प दशम अध्याय चैप्टर 10 द योगा ऑफ ग्रैटिट्यूड लेखिकांक मतरे ग्रैटिट्यूड बा कृतज्ञतार भाव आम भितरी सृजनशीलतार शक्ति को जागृत करे एवं समस्त असुविधा को पार करने को सामर्थ्य रखे सोमा मने पकाउचंती सोमा मु कही रखे जो माने पढ़ी ना पुस्तक से माता सीतांकर सबुठारु प्रिया दासी थिले माता सोमा मने पकाई देउछंती कलाम नामक ग्रामवासी जे आश्रम को किछि अनुदान देबा पई आसी माता जो सीता माता जो आश्रम थिले से आश्रम को किछि अनुदान दे कि से मुनिंकर प्रिय है से प्रिय भाषी हेले तार मर्यादा बढ़िबो प्रतिष्ठा बढ़िबो जे एते बड़ मुनिंकर मु हेली प्रियजन सेही आशारे किछि दान देबांको चाहुतिले एहा किंतु जानि पारिले से त्रिकालदर्शी से मुनिजन एवं जानी शुणी जो दिन से दान देबा पई आसुतिले सेठारु से चली गले एवं कही जाइथिले जे मु नथिले मध्य एठारे जणे बहुत भद्र महिला अछंती जणे साधु आमर साधिका अछंती तांकु निश्चित देखा करबाको जिबे ताहा शुणी व्यक्ति जनक आउरी विरक्त हो गले अरे ये की कथा एते गर्व मु आसुची मु दान देबा पई आसी ताहा जानि मध्य निजे तो चली गले साधारण महिला से मते कोन ज्ञान देबे मु तांकटू कोन ज्ञान शिखेबी मु तांकु जाई देखा करबी किंतु से जेहेतु तांक कथा को काटिबा को चाहू नांती से जाई माता को पाखरे पहुंचचंती किंतु माता धैर्यर सहित से जहा कहउचंती सब सुनुचंती एवं श्रद्धार सहित तांको खाद्य परसुचंती खाद्य परिसवा समय से अनर्गल खाली कंप्लेन करूचंती तांक परिवार विषय रे तांक स्त्री विषय रे तांकर परिस्थिति विषय रे से सब को कहवा सत्वे कही चली एवं तापर खाद्य खाऊ खाऊ मध्य कहते जे ए खाद्य आदौ स्वादिष्ट नुहे ए खाद्य आदौ स्वादिष्ट नुहे ताहा शुणी माँ अत्यंत शांत धीर भाव में कहते आर थर को आम सुधार चेष्टा करें तो ଏଇ ଯେଉଁ ଦେଖୁଛନ୍ତି ତାହା ଜଣେ ଆଉ ଜଣେ ଦାସୀ ସେ ଆଶ୍ରମର ସେ ଦେଖୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ମାତା କେତେ ସହନଶୀଳତାର ସହିତ ଧୈର୍ଯ୍ୟର ସହିତ ମାତା ସେ ବ୍ୟବହାର ଯାହା ଯାହା କହୁଥିଲେ ଡେନା ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ୍ କି ରିଆକ୍ସନ୍ ନ କରିବା, ତେଣୁ ସେ ଧୈର୍ଯ୍ୟର ସହିତ ଆମେ ଆର ଥରକ ସୁଧାରିବାକୁ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରିବୁ ବୋଲି ତାଙ୍କୁ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ଖାଦ୍ୟ ଦେଉଛନ୍ତି। ଖାଦ୍ୟ ଖାଇସାରିଲା ପରେ ତାଙ୍କୁ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଆମ ସାଙ୍ଗରେ ଟିକେ ଚାଲନ୍ତୁ କହି ସେଠି ପାଖରେ ଥିବା ବଦରୀ ନାମକ ବୃଦ୍ଧ ଜଣକ ଗୋଟିଏ ଭଙ୍ଗା କୁଡ଼ିଆରେ ସେ ରହନ୍ତି, ସେ ଭଙ୍ଗା କୁଡ଼ିଆରେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ନେଉଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ସେଇ ଭଙ୍ଗା କୁଡ଼ିଆରେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ସେ ଖାଦ୍ୟଟି ଦେଉଛନ୍ତି। ସେ ଖାଦ୍ୟ ଦେଖିଲା କଣି ସେ ଖୁସି ହେଇଯାଉଛନ୍ତି ସେ ବୃଦ୍ଧ ଜଣକ, ଆଉ ସେ ଯାହା ଖାଦ୍ୟ ଦେଉଛନ୍ତି ଆନନ୍ଦରେ କୃତଜ୍ଞତାର ସହିତ ତାକୁ ଖାଉଛନ୍ତି। ସେ ଇଏ ମନେ ମନେ ଭାବୁଛନ୍ତି ଏଇଠି ଅଛି କ'ଣ କୃତଜ୍ଞତା ଦେବା ପାଇଁ, ଭଙ୍ଗା କୁଡ଼ିଆ ଦୁର୍ବଳ ଲୋକ ଜଣକ ତା ପାଖରେ ଅଛି କ'ଣ ସେ କୃତଜ୍ଞତା ଦେଉଛି, କିନ୍ତୁ ସେ ସେଇଠି ଗଦଗଦ ହୋଇ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ମୁଁ ବଞ୍ଚିଛି, ଇଜ୍ ଇଟ୍ ନଟ୍ ଏନଫ୍, वी आर लिविंग वेल, ମୁଁ ବଞ୍ଚିଛି ଏବଂ ଶ୍ରଦ୍ଧାର ସହିତ ମାତାଙ୍କ ହାତରୁ ସ୍ନେହ ପରସା ଖାଉଛି। ସେ ଖାଦ୍ୟ ଦେଉନାହାନ୍ତି, ସେଥିରେ ସ୍ନେହ ପରସୁଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ସେହି ସ୍ନେହକୁ ଖାଇକି ମୁଁ ମୋର ପୋଷଣ କରୁଛି। ଆଠାରୁ ବଡ଼ ଆଉ ଆନନ୍ଦର ବିଷୟ କ'ଣ ଅଛି? ମୁଁ ଯେଉଁ କୃତଜ୍ଞତା ଅନୁଭବ କରୁଛି ତାହାକୁ ମୁଁ ଶବ୍ଦରେ ପ୍ରକାଶ କରିପାରିପାରି ନାହିଁ। ପୁଣି କିଛି ଦିନ ଗଲା, ଖାଦ୍ୟ ପରସିଲା ବେଳେ ପୁଣି ସେ ଖାଦ୍ୟର ଅନ୍ୟ ଗୋଟେ ଦୋଷ ବାହାର କଲେ ଯେ ଆଜି ମନେ ମନେ ସେ ଅନ୍ୟ ଦାସୀଟି ଭାବୁଥିଲେ ଇଏ ନ ଆସନ୍ତେ କି ଆଉ ନ ଆସିଲେ ଭଲ, କିନ୍ତୁ ସେ ପୁଣି ଟାଣି ହେଇ ଆସିଲେ ଏବଂ ଆସିଲା ପରେ ଖାଦ୍ୟର ପୁଣି ଅଭିଯୋଗ କଲେ। ମାତା ପୁଣି କହିଲେ ଆରଥରକ ଆମେ ଏଠାରୁ ନିଶ୍ଚିତ ଭଲ କରିବାର ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରିବୁ। ତ ମାତାଙ୍କର ଧୈର୍ଯ୍ୟ ଏବଂ ମାତାଙ୍କର ଯେଉଁ ବ୍ୟବହାର ତାହା ମଧ୍ୟ ଆମକୁ ବହୁତ କିଛି ଶିଖଉଛି। ସେ ପୁଣି କିଛି ଖାଦ୍ୟ ନେଇ ବଦରୀ ପାଖକୁ ଗଲେ ଏବଂ ବଦରୀ ପାଖକୁ ଯାଇକି ସେଠି ସେ ସାଙ୍ଗରେ ଏ ବ୍ୟକ୍ତିଟି ମଧ୍ୟ ଗଲେ, ଯାଇକି ସେଠି ସେ ଦେଖୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ପୁଣି ସେ ଖାଦ୍ୟ ପାଇଁ ସେ କୃତଜ୍ଞତା ପ୍ରକାଶ କରୁଛନ୍ତି। ତାହା ଦେଖି ବ୍ୟକ୍ତି ଜଣକ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଖାଦ୍ୟ ଆଦୌ ସ୍ୱାଦ ନାହିଁ, ଆପଣଙ୍କର ସ୍ୱାଦ ଗ୍ରନ୍ଥିରେ କିଛି ଦୋଷ ଅଛି ବୋଧେ, ଆପଣ ଜାଣିପାରୁନାହାନ୍ତି ସ୍ୱାଦ କେମିତି ଖାଦ୍ୟ କେମିତି ହେଇଛି। ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଖାଦ୍ୟ ମାଧ୍ୟମରେ ମୁଁ ବିଶ୍ୱ ପ୍ରେମକୁ ମାଙ୍କ ହାତରୁ ପରସା ଖାଉଛି, ତେଣୁ ଏହା ହେଉଛି ମୁଁ ସେଇ ବିଶ୍ୱ ପ୍ରେମ ପାଇଁ ମାଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ସଦା ସର୍ବଦା କୃତଜ୍ଞ। ତ କଲମ ପ୍ରାୟ ଆଶ୍ରମ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଆସିବାକୁ ଲାଗୁଛନ୍ତି, ବାରବାର ଆସିବାକୁ ଲାଗୁଛନ୍ତି। ମା ଯେତେବେଳେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଖାଦ୍ୟ ଦେଉଛନ୍ତି ସେ କିଛି ନା କିଛି ଦୋଷ ଗୁଣ ବାହାର କରୁଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ କିନ୍ତୁ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ୟ କରାଯାଉଛି ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ସେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ତାଙ୍କ ମାନସିକତାରେ ଟିକେ ସାମାନ୍ୟ ପରିବର୍ତ୍ତନ ଦେଖାଯାଉଛି। ସେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ କାହାକୁ ନ କହିକି ମଧ୍ୟ ସେ ଭଙ୍ଗା କୁଡ଼ିଆକୁ ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ସେ ବଦରୀଙ୍କ ପାଖକୁ ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି। ସେ ପରେ ମାତା ବଦରୀକୁ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ମୁଁ କୃତଜ୍ଞ ଆପଣ ଏ କଲମକୁ ମୋ ପାଖକୁ ଆଣିବାକୁ। ସେ ବୃଦ୍ଧ ଜଣକ ମାତାଙ୍କୁ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ମୁଁ କୃତଜ୍ଞ ଆପଣ ଏ ବ୍ୟକ୍ତିକୁ ମୋ ପାଖକୁ ଆଣିବାକୁ, କାହିଁକିନା ମୁଁ ଜାଣିପାରୁଛି ସେ ମୋର ପୂର୍ବ ଜନ୍ମରେ ପୁତ୍ର ଥିଲା ଏବଂ ଆମର କର୍ମବନ୍ଧନରେ କିଛି ବାକି ରହିଯାଇଥିଲା, ଯାହାର ଦୁଷ୍କର୍ମ ଫଳରେ ସେ ଆଜି ଏତେ ଦୁଃଖ ପାଉଅଛି। ତାର ସେବା ମୋତେ ସେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଯେଉଁ ଆସୁଅଛି କିଛି ଆବଶ୍ୟକତା ନାହିଁ, ତଥାପି ସେ ଭଙ୍ଗା କୁଡ଼ିଆକୁ ସଜାଡ଼ି ଦେଲାଣି। ସେ ତାକୁ ବର୍ଷା ସେଥିରୁ ପଡ଼ିଲେ ତା ବୃଦ୍ଧଙ୍କର କିଛି ଅସୁବିଧା ନାହିଁ, କିନ୍ତୁ ସେ ତାଙ୍କୁ କିଛି ନା କିଛି ସାହାଯ୍ୟ କରିଚାଲିଛନ୍ତି, ତାଙ୍କୁ କୁଡ଼ିଆ ସଜାଡ଼ି ଦେଲେଣି, ତାଙ୍କୁ ଉପକାର କରୁଛନ୍ତି। ତ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ସେ ଅନାୟାସରେ ସେ ବୃଦ୍ଧଙ୍କୁ ସେବା ଦେବାରେ ଲାଗିଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ଯେମିତି ଯେମିତି ସେ ସେବା ଦେବାରେ ଲାଗିଛନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କ ଆଟିଟ୍ୟୁଡ଼ରେ ତାଙ୍କର ଦୃଷ୍ଟିକୋଣରେ ପରିବର୍ତ୍ତନ ହେବାକୁ ଲାଗିଛି। ସେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଆଉ କମ୍ପ୍ଲେନ୍ରୁ ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ କମିବା ତାଙ୍କର ଲାଗିଲାଣି। ଆଉ ଏଭଳି ଏକ ସମୟ ଆସିଲାଣି ସେ ଆଉ ଖାଦ୍ୟରେ ଦୋଷ ବି ଆଉ କାଢ଼ୁନାହାନ୍ତି। ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ଆମ ଦି ଜଣଙ୍କର ଯେଉଁ କର୍ମର ଦୋଷ ଥିଲା ତାହା ଆପଣ ତାଙ୍କ ମୋ ପାଖରୁ ଆଣିବା ଫଳରେ ତାଙ୍କର ସେଟା କଟିଗଲା। ତ କଲମ ଏହାପରେ ଯେ ଏହାପରେ ସେ ବଦରୀ ଯେଉଁ ବୃଦ୍ଧ ଜଣକ ତାଙ୍କର ଦେହାନ୍ତ ହେଇଯାଇଛି। ଦେହାନ୍ତ ହେଇଗଲା ପରେ ଯେଉଁ କଲମ ନାମକ ବ୍ୟକ୍ତି ଯିଏ ତାଙ୍କର ସେବା କରୁଥିଲେ ସେ ମାଙ୍କ ହାତରୁ ପରସା ଖାଇଲା ବେଳକୁ କାନ୍ଦି ଦେଉଛନ୍ତି, କାନ୍ଦିକି ଭୋ ଭୋ କାନ୍ଦୁଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ମାତା ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ କୃତଜ୍ଞ, ମାତା ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ କୃତଜ୍ଞ ଯେ ଆପଣ ମୋତେ ଏ ବୃଦ୍ଧ ବ୍ୟକ୍ତି ପାଖରେ ପହଞ୍ଚାଇଲେ ଯାହାଠାରୁ ଯିଏ ମୋର ଏତେ କଥା ଶୁଣୁଥିଲା। ବଦରୀ ପାଖରେ ବି ଯାଇ ସେ କମ୍ପ୍ଲେନ୍ ହିଁ କରୁଥିଲେ ତାଙ୍କ ଘର ବିଷୟରେ, ତାଙ୍କ ସ୍ତ୍ରୀ ବିଷୟରେ, ତାଙ୍କ ଛୁଆଙ୍କ ବିଷୟରେ, କିନ୍ତୁ ସେ ପ୍ରତ୍ୟେକ ନକାରାତ୍ମକ ବିଷୟ ମଧ୍ୟରେ ତାର ପଜିଟିଭ୍ ସାଇଡ଼୍ଟା ତାଙ୍କୁ କହୁଥିଲେ। ତେଣୁ ତା ଭିତରେ ଯେଉଁ ନକାରାତ୍ମକ ଭାବନାକୁ ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ପରିବର୍ତ୍ତନ, ତା ଦୃଷ୍ଟିକୋଣକୁ ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ପରିବର୍ତ୍ତନ କରିବାକୁ ସହାୟକ ହୋଇଥିଲେ। ଆଉ ଦ୍ୱିତୀୟ କଥା ହେଲା ତାକୁ ଶୁଣୁଥିଲେ, ତାକୁ କେଉଁଠି ନା କେଉଁଠି କେହି ଶୁଣିବା ପାଇଁ ବି ନଥିଲେ। ତେଣୁ ये कलाम वर्तमान माता को कृतज्ञता प्रकाश करुचंती जे माता आपण तांको पाखरे मते नहीं थिबारु मु आपण पाखरे कृतज्ञ। तेणु यही कृतज्ञता ही आमको प्रत्येक जिनिसर प्रकृत स्थिति बुझा साहाय्य करे। कारण जेकोसी परिस्थिति जतबे जटिल मन हुए ताहा आमर केवल केवल आमर जागृति पाई ही तार प्रयोजन थाए। माता सीतांकर एठी आ गोटे सुंदर जिनस कहिचंती जे माता सीतांकर एही मनोवृत्ति बाल्यकाल थिला जहाँ पिता जनकों ठारू से नहीं थिले। थरे दुर्भिक्ष पड़ीथिला एवं से दुर्भिक्ष समय रे जेतेबेले से राज्यर राज्यवासी माने खाद्य पाउ नथिले सेतेबेले जनक पिता एवं तांको राज परिवार मध्य समस्ते पेट भरी खाऊ नथिले काहेकि ना राज्य रे समस्ते पेट भरी खाइबा को पाउ नाहांती। तेणु तांको पाखरे थिले मध्य से माने खाइबा को पाउ नथिले। सेतेबेले माता सीता कहिथिले जे केते कृतज्ञता अनुभव हबो जदि समस्तଙ୍କ पाखरे भरपूर खाद्य आसीबो एवं ताठारु बेसी कृतज्ञता वर्तमान समय पई जे आम पाखरे कम खाद्य अछि। आम पाखरे कम खाद्य अछि से कम खाद्य पई कृतज्ञता। कारण से कम खाद्य आमको नुआ उपाय खोजिबा पाई आम भितरे एक मनोवृत्ति सृष्टि करिवो जे आमे कोन कले आमे एई भली दुर्भिक्षर परिस्थिति उत्पन्न हेबो नाही बा अधिक फसल हेबो। एवं यही समय जो दुख समय परिवार लोक एकाठी जाती ठीक से बड़ी यही जो दुर्भिक्ष समय राज्यवासी माने परस्पर को साहाय्य करिसंती। परस्पर को साहाय्य जति जहाँ पाखरे अछि परस्पर को साहाय्य करचंती। जो यही जो परस्पर भितरे समन्वय भाव आसीची प्रेम भाव भातृत्व भाव जागृत होईची दुख समय कोविड समय जेमिति समस्तଙ୍କ भितरे एक प्रेमत्वर एकत्वर रज्जु आसीथिला बांधिथिला ठीक सही भली जो यही जो दुखर समय अनायास रे हमको नूतनता खोजिबा पाई निज भितरे एक प्रेरणा देवा सहित आमको से जो सृजनशीलतार बीज आम भितर बपन करे। आपण माने जानिथिबे ताहा एठारे मध्ये लेखा है जे ताहा वास्तविक घटिथिला कि जो नूतन जो जलसेचन उपाय जलसेचन नूतन माध्यम जो भूमि तले भूतल जलसेचन व्यवस्था जनक बाबा ही उद्भावन करथिले। आमे ताको ड्रिप इरिगेशन कहवा सर तो से वर्तमान टेक्नोलोजी आमे जहाँ एबे कहूचे ताहा बहु वर्ष बहु जुग तले ता माने पिता जनक से दुर्भिक्ष को ओवरकम करिया पई ताहा से माने करथिले। तेणु प्रत्येक अप्रीतिकर परिस्थिति आमर चेतनार केवल केवल विकास पई एपरिक से कहउचंती लंका रे थिला बेले मध्य से कृतज्ञता अनुभव करिसंती। लंका रे थिला बेले मध्य से अनेक को साहाय्य करिसंती राम को मध्य करिसंती। रावण रे मन रे प्रवेश करी तांको मेंटल बॉडी रे प्रवेश करी से जो इल्यूजन सृष्टि करुथिले से सब भ्रम को से विनाश करुथिले। एवं एभली कि तांकु जेतेबेले वन को पठाइतिला आमे हमर बहुत गुटे भ्रम एक्चुअली पुस्तक पढ़िबा द्वारा बहुत गुटे भ्रम हमर दूर हबो। आमे भाबु लवकुशं को धरी किभली जणे गर्भिणी को पठाई दिया गला किंतु से कहउचंती भृगु ऋषिंकर अभिशाप फल रे से सेठिक जाइथिले। भृगु ऋषि कोन वास्तविक जानिथिले जे ताहा तांको पई एटा अभिशाप नुहे आशीर्वाद स्वरूप। कारण से जेभली प्रकृति को भल पाती प्रकृति सहित बढ़िबा को से मध्य चाहूतिले जे मोर संतान से भली प्रकृति कोल रे बंचंतु से भली प्रकृति टू शिखंतु। तेणु करी तांकर जे वृक्षलता जीव जंतु को भल पाइबा से कहउचंती जे तांकर जो पुत्र वन को जाई सेठी बढ़िले सेथि पाई भी से कृतज्ञ। तेणु प्रत्येक परिस्थिति रे से केवल कृतज्ञता रे ही थिले एवं से कृतज्ञतार ही वार्ता से समस्त को देइथिले। माता पाख को अनेक लोक रोगग्रस्त हो आसंती माता तांको कृतज्ञतार शिक्षा दियंती। से एठारे आउ गोटे कहानी कहउचंती जेउठारे दिवानी नामक घटना जेउठारे ध्यानर किछि अप्रीतिकर दृश्य देखि से व्यस्त हो जाउचंती। पुरी नामक महिला तांको मारुचंती मनीष को मारुचंती से देखुचंती जे जणे तांको मारुचंती एवं से जेतबे ध्यान रे तांको बॉडी को फील करूचंती जे सेटा मो बॉडी तांको जो माड़ होउची देखुचंती से ध्यान रे से लागुची तांको ही माड़ होउची से पेन से फील करूचंती। ध्यान रे तांकर व्यस्त होई कि बाहरी जाउचंती एवं से जानुचंती इट वाज नॉट ए ड्रीम इट वाज नॉट एन इल्यूजन इट इज ट्रुथ। तेणु करी से तांको घर को से पुरी नामक महिला घर को जीवा पई बाहरीचंती एवं को से एटा भी जानिचंती जे ये तांकर पूर्व जन्मर जने बंधु थिले। एवं रास्तारू किछि सुंदर फूल से गोटेइचंती गोटे गुच्छ करिचंती से गुच्छ को नहीं जाइचंती जेतले पहुँचीचंती से देखुचंती तांकर कबाट रे जे ठियाइचंती से कहउचंती से नहांती से महिला जनक नहांती से कहउचंती से अच्छंती से भीतर को जाउचंती भीतर को जाई देखुचंती गोटे कोणरे से गोटे उंडेड एनिमल दिस इज द वर्ड्स इज रिटन उंडेड एनिमल गोटे क्षत विक्षत पशु भली से पड़ी रही अत्यंत दुखी एवं निराशमय भावरे कारण से तांकर पूर्व जन्म रे निज संतान को पिटिकी मारी देथिले से ग्लानी से गिल्ट तांको बारंबार बारंबार सेबिंती जन्म नेबा पई प्रेरित करतल जो से माड़ खाइबे जेहेतु से माड़ मारिकी संतान को मारिचंती से सेही भली जन्म नेउथले जेउठारे से माड़ खाइबे तो वर्तमान से कहउचंती एआर सोल को वर्तमान सेही चेतनारू ताकू हटेबा पई मु आई एम रेडी टू हेल्प हर काइना जते बेले एटी आउ गोटे कथा मैडम कहचंती कि इट इज वेरी इजी टू गिव ग्रैटिट्यूड जे भल काम करचंती किंतु जते बेले गोटे भूल हो जाए जे भूल जी विक्टिम ताकू समस्त दया करते किंतु जो प्रोप्राइटर जे करिछि से जिनिसटी भूल ता मध्य भी गोटे पॉइंट रे ग्लानी आसुथबो ताकू क्षमा देई हुए नाही तेणु ता प्रति मध्य से कहउचंती जे ताकू से प्रेरणा देइचंती से जाइचंती ताकू उठेइचंती से फूल गुच्छा देइचंती कुंढेइचंती आउ से भो भोगी कांदी तांकू से दुख से पेन जहाँ से जन्म जन्म धरी धरी रखिचंती एवं से निजको निजे पेन दौचंती सेठारु से मुक्त करिचंती तेणु से कहू निजको निजे प्रमिस करिचंती जे मु जन्म जन्मरु मुआ कुछ एबंडन कर देइतिली छाड़ी देइतिली किंतु एथर छाड़ी भी नहीं तेणु बाट बणा मनुष्य को बाट को आनिबा पाई निश्चित भाबरे एठारे वर्णित होइतिबा अनेक गुड योगा मध्यरु योगा ऑफ लव सर प्लीज सर आग्रह yoga of love and yoga of gratitude and there are many more yogas जहाँ को आमे पालन करिबा ग्रहण करिबा जीवन रे ताकू उतारिबा तेबे जे आम जीवन प्रकृत रे जो इनर एवं एवेकनिक आमे कहिबा पुनर्जागरण पुनर्जागृति हेई परिबो धन्यवाद 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 तेते सुंदर शब्द जहाँ को मु जदि मोर वक्तव्य रे तांको शब्दर जो भाषा को टिके करिबा कहिबा को चेष्टा करी जदि भूल होइतबे मु ता पई क्षमा मागी नेउची बहुत बहुत कृतज्ञता मु वर्तमान अनुरोध करिबी हमर पूज्य पूजार विधि को आगो को नेबा हमर I will request all of our honorable guests to be in front of the stage. कहानी की भली लागिला बुझी हेलानी अनुरोध करी सर्वप्रथमे प्रोफेसर विजय महापात्र सार को संबर्धित करने पाई बंधुगण जोरदार करताली सहित आम अतिथि गण को आम मैडम मैरियम मास्टर को संबर्धित करिबा ये दुनिया के
कैसे बदलेगी हमसे हमसे, ये दुनिया कैसे बदलेगी हमसे हमसे, हम खुद को कैसे बदलेंगे ध्यान से, विज्ञान से, आत्मज्ञान से, खुद को जानो तुम क्या हो, पहचानो
डेना मैम को बर्तमान संबर्धित करवा।
तुम क्या हो, तुम क्या हो, तुम क्या हो, तुम क्या हो, सांस को अब नाए ध्यान ही बन जाए, सांस को अब नाए ध्यान ही बन जाए।
आमर मुख्य अतिथि को वर्तमान जस्टिस षडंगी को संबर्धित करवा।
सांस को अब नाए ध्यान ही बन जाए, सांस को अब नाए ध्यान ही बन जाए। तुझ में मुझ में क्या अंतर है, पशु पक्षी भी जीव है, तुझ में मुझ में क्या अंतर है, पशु पक्षी भी जीव है, जीने का हक सबको है, हम सब
वर्तमान
सारे
आमर एक
हैं, ध्यान
सुंदर
शाकाहारी
नृत्य नाटिकाटी अच्छी तापरे आमर इंटरैक्शन सेशन अच्छी केही भी स्थान छाड़ी जिबे नाही जो श्रृंखलार सहित आमे वर्तमान पर्यंत शुरू अच्छे से श्रृंखला को बजाय रखिबा। मात्र 15 मिनिट रो सीतांकर स्टोरी को ओडिसी नृत्य माध्यम रे काहे ना आमे जो अतिथि आसी सुदूर अमेरिका रु तांको आमे ओडिशार कल्चर आमे तांको देखेबा को चाहूचु। तो समस्ते बसंतु मु अनुरोध करी आमर बरेण्य अतिथि मानू मंच सम्मुख रे बसी ओडिसी नृत्य को तार अनुभव नियंतु। I'll request the volunteers to please clear the stage for Odissi and also to get ready with the music.
आत्मबंधन समस्त को वर्तमान आम एक सुंदर ओडिसी नृत्य देखा ताकू परिवेशन करिसेंते विश्वनाथ संगीतालय स्टूडेंट्स माने। द स्क्रिप्ट वाज रिटन बाय पंडित नित्यानंद मिश्र। नमामि राम। Sri Ram Mangalacharanam, I bowed down to Rama, whose ancestor was Raghu, who was a happy prince, who was born in the lineage of Surya, who has a dark body, who treated his subject well, who broke the huge bow, and who is the spouse of Janaki. I bow down to Rama, who lived in the forest wearing yellow robes, who was sad because of losing his beloved, who granted moksha to Jatayu, who made the Vanaras happy, who killed the demon Ravan and released his concert. Dance choreographed by Srimati Dipti Rautray, music direction by Guru Sri Pradeep Kumar Rai, rhythm composed by Guru Sri Dhaneshwar Swami. Dancers are Varsha Priyadarshini, Smita Maharana, Soumya Sri Nayak, Nayonika Rai, Reena Bala Lenka, Akanksha Rautray, Rakesh Das and Ankit Saha. ଚାଲନ୍ତୁ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଆମେ ଏହି ସୁନ୍ଦର ଓଡ଼ିଶୀ ନୃତ୍ୟକୁ ଦେଖିବା।
सुनीलरागशोभितम् सुनीलरागशोभितम् प्रजासुपालनक्षमम् प्रजासुपालनक्षमम् विशालचापभञ्जनम् विशालचापभञ्जनम् जननी प्रियसुत दशरथनन्दन स्वजन समर्चित सत्य सुपालन जननी प्रियसुत दशरथनन्दन स्वजन समर्चित सत्य सुपालन धीर धीर जटाधर कार्मुक भूषण भीषण दानव दर्प विनाशन भीषण दानव दर्प विनाशन वीर वीर नमामि राम राघवम् नमामि राम सज्जितम् अरण्यवासनिर्वृतं सुपीतवाससज्जितम् नमामि तं जटाधरं नमामि तं जटाधरं हृतप्रियाविषादिनं हृतप्रियाविषादिनम्
Tanana, dim tanana, tade tade tadri kita, tade tade tadri kita, dhage 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 dim terkita, terkita, tade tade tadri kita, tade tade tadri kita, dhage 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 dim terkita, terkita, dhadri kita, dhadri kita, dha 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 terkita dha.
नमामि दैत्यनाशनं नमामि दैत्यनाशनं कृतप्रिया विमोचनं कृतप्रिया विमोचनं नमामि राम राघवं नमामि राम नमामि राम राघवं 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 नमामि राम राघवं
Hello, hello.
अनुरोध करी कलाकार मानक आमर मंच उपरे रहिबा पई पुणी थरे एवं गुरु डॉक्टर दीप्ति राय महोदय को मध्य मंच उपर को निमंत्रण करूछु। एक जोरदार करताली सहित पुणी थरे आमर साधुवाद जणाइबा एते सुंदर नृत्य परिवेषण करबा पई। एहा नृत्य नथिला माता सीतांकर जीवन कहानी थिला। तांकर विवाह ठारू आरंभ करी धनुभंग ठारू आरंभ करी तांकर अति सुंदर भाव निखुण भाव राम सीतांकर कहानी को नृत्य माध्यम परिवेषण कर आपण को हृदय कोटि 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 धन्यवाद आम समस्त तरफ एवं ये धन्यवाद स्वरूप मु आमर अतिथि गण को पुणी थे निवेदन करी टिके कष्ट करेंगे मंच उपर को आसबे आम सम्मानित करवा आमर यही कला एवं कलाकार सकाशे उत्कल आज गौरवान्वित तेणु ए उत्कृष्ट कलार देश उत्कल से मानक आज बंची रही। धन्यवाद धन्यवाद धन्यवाद।
हेलो वर्तमान आउ एक सुंदर नृत्य को परिवेषण करने को जाउछंदी आयस पात्र भजन मो जगा कालिया रे भजन मो जगा कालिया रे।
Are we going? Track Dena track. बैकग्राउंड जगन्नाथ से जगन्नाथ रो बैक इसमें तो नहीं लगेगा कॉर्ड नीलम को दे दो नीलम कि नहीं जाओ तुम फॉरवर्ड करो मत दे टेक्निकल टीम में दे मत दे अभिषेक जीवन दास ना ये हमरे पठा दिए टेक्निकल टीम में दे दो टेक्निकल टीम डाउनलोड कर लगा कवर निकालो जल्दी ओहो आपका नहीं है रुकिए फिर मेरे फोन से होगा ऊपर नहीं
आपण फोन करो अभिषेक तुम फोन करो
ये नेट क्या सुनी नेट आसे आपण को फोन लगा
मो फोन लगन करता नेट तांकर नेट आसी कोन
जगतर नाथ जगन्नाथ को भक्ति अर्घ्य देवाई आम सामने उपस्थित हो सारे वर्तमान ऐसा पात्र बोध हुए करताली गुंजरण नहेले से नृत्य परिवेषण करवा नहीं तेणु पुणी थे जोरदार गुंजरण शुभु।
श्री जगन्नाथ श्री जगन्नाथ लखे सालो ग्राम बिंचा बेदी को छाड़ी रथारूढ़ हेउची मो कला श्री हरि लखे सालो ग्राम बिंचा बेदी को छाड़ी रथारूढ़ हेउची मो कला श्री हरि मेंटी जीव ए आखिरु अनेक सोसा सरधा बाली रे देखी श्रीनंदी घोष जय जगन्नाथ कही दुई हाथ टेकी दे मन प्राण मिशि जाऊ महाजात्रा रे मो जगा कालिया रे मो जगा कालिया रे मो जगा कालिया रे कालिया रे मो जगा कालिया रे मो जगा कालिया रे मो जगा कालिया रे कालिया रे महाप्रभु श्री जगन्नाथ की बाली जो उठी विभूति हुए भाव थिले भात हुए महाप्रसाद पानी जो उठी टंक तोराणी पवन रे भासिया से गीत गोविंद ओडिया जाति गौरव करे आनंदरे कहे से मो इष्ट देवता दारु हेले भी बुझुछु दुख कालिया रे मो जगा कालिया रे कालिया रे मो जगा कालिया रे मो जगा कालिया रे मो जगा कालिया रे कालिया रे।
मंच उपरକୁ ଆସିବା ପାଇଁ केते जण आ भितरु ध्यान करबा को चाहुचंदी हाथ टेकंतु। ध्यान करबा हां प्रस्तुत अछंती तेबे वर्तमान आमे सम्मानित कला पर ध्यान करबा।
सांस को अपना है ध्यानी बन जाए, 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 सांस को अपना है, सांस को अपना है, सांस को
समस्त को पुनर्बार अनुरोध चेक करि नियंतु कहार जनकर भी मोबाइल जेमिति न बाजे समस्ते फोन को साइलेंट कर दियंतु। आमे एक अद्भुत अल्प समय पे ध्यान करबा। आमे स्वाध्याय कले आमे आनंद ब्रह्म कले वर्तमान ध्यान करबा। तेणु से ध्यान रे निमग्न हेबा पई निजर आत्मक्षेत्र को प्रस्तुत करि नियंतु। बाह्य जगत रु अंतर्जगत को जीवा पई निजको निजे अनुमति दे सुंदर सुखासन रे बसी जांतु। जो माने मोबाइल चालना करूचंती मु अनुरोध करूची मोबाइल को दया करिकी बंद कर दियंतु। एक सुंदर अलौकिक यात्रा रे हमें जाउचे।
Yes, I'm going to do read a sentence and then we have music and maybe, so we have music. Yeah, music is music. Yeah.
Which music? Any preferred music?
Anything, meditation. So we're going to have a meditation now for about 30 minutes. And I thought that I would just read a sentence that we can meditate on. Since I had read something from a story from the Yoga of Love, I'll just read it, a quote, and we can then go into meditation.
Those who want to do meditation on the stage can come, but don't rush. Huh? Yes, you can come.
It is this ever-expanding, all-encompassing love that bestows the experience of intense bliss and takes away any and every desire for anything else. Once tasted, nothing else will satisfy. It's the love for the divine, which is the purpose of life. So let us try to go into our heart chakra and feel just a taste of this intense love. as we come back to the world, let us come back in gratitude, the yoga of gratitude. Gratitude helps awaken the creative energy to overcome adversity. Let us go forward in a spirit of gratitude. Gratitude helps us to see the true nature of things, because everything that comes to us, every condition, no matter how adverse, is for the purpose of awakening and can lead to a positive outcome. It all depends on the attitude.
धीरे धीरे दुई हातर पापुली को आखि उपरको नेबा कोमलतार सह आखि को हाथ पापुली भितरे खोलिबा 5 4 3 2 1 0 तार करताळीर सह दिव्य ऊर्जा को निज भितरे समाहित करिबा धन्यवाद देबा आमर माता पिता को कृतज्ञता जणाइबा परम पूज्य ब्रह्मर्षि पत्रीजी को कृतज्ञता जणाइबा महाअवतार बाबाजी को कृतज्ञता जणाइबा परमहंस योगानंद जी को कृतज्ञता जणाइबा जगन्नाथ बलभद्र सुभद्रा चतुर्धा मूर्ति को धन्यवाद जणाइबा प्रकृति माता को वृक्ष जगत को जीव जगत को पशु जगत को खनिज जगत को जल जगत को धन्यवाद जणाइबा पंचभूत को गभीर कृतज्ञता जणाइबा हमर परिवार वर्ग को संग साथी ज्ञाति कुटुंब को धन्यवाद जणाइबा प्रत्येकटी प्रत्यक्ष वा परोक्ष भाव रे जड़ित थिबा आम सांगरे व्यक्ति विशेष को धन्यवाद देबा व्यवहार करुथिबा प्रत्येकटी पदार्थ को धन्यवाद देबा वर्तमान र मुहूर्त को धन्यवाद देबा निजर ही धन्य दिव्य शरीर को धन्यवाद देबा शरीर र प्रत्येकटी अंग प्रत्यंग को धन्यवाद देबा प्रत्येकटी कोशिका को धन्यवाद देबा प्रत्येकटी श्वास को गभीर कृतज्ञता देबा मन के तंबूरे में दो मन के तंबूरे में दो सांसों के तार बोले जय सिया राम राम जय सिया राम जय सिया राम राम जय सिया राम से ही दिव्य डिवाइन फेमिनाइन और डिवाइन मस्कुलाइन एनर्जी को निज भितर बैलेंस करबा पाए से यंग और यंग को निज भितर जागृत करबा पाए से शिव शक्ति को निज भितर समाधिस्थ करबा पाए से परम सत्ता जोठारु आमे आसीचे गभीर कृतज्ञता से ही स्रोत को से ही उच्च को आज यही कोठरी कृषि महाविद्यालय प्रत्येकटी आ सहित जड़ित व्यक्ति विशेष को गभीर कृतज्ञता देवा पर मन हुए जे भली यही यूनिवर्सिटी तीनोटी कार्य अच्छी गोटे हूँ शिक्षा गोटे गवेषणा गोटे संप्रसारण से कृषि हूँ उर्वरता एवं जमी को तार उपजाऊ शक्ति किभली प्रस्तुत करबा एवं से फसल उत्पादन करबा प्रकृत कृषिर बीज आज आमर आत्मक्षेत्र ज्ञानर बीज को बपन करे ताकू साधनार संचारित करे ताकू पुणी गवेषणात्मक भाव में जड़े स्पिरिचुअल साइंटिस्ट भाव में ताको गवेषणात्मक भाव में नहीं ताको संप्रसारण करवा आज जो दिव्य ऊर्जा माता सीतांकर डेना मेरियम माध्यम समस्त भीतर विश्व प्रेम जो डिवाइन फेमिनाइन एनर्जी डाउनलोड हो समस्ते निज भीतर पूर्ण भाव में समाहित करनियंतु प्रत्येक दिन से साधना बल ताकू अधिक रु अधिक विस्तारित कर चतुर्दिग को संप्रसारण करंतु यही दिव्य ऊर्जा यही जुग परिवर्तन समय एकांत काम्य अनेक अनेक सभ्यता जहाँ टेक्नोलोजी एडवांसमेंट रहा सत्वे नाश पाई जाइथिला जेतेबेले ता भितरे से दिव्य प्रेमर अभाव आसीथिला तेणु दिव्य ज्ञान सहित दिव्य प्रेमर मिश्रण एकांत आवश्यक ताहा ही आमर काम्य आम आज जदि एटी एकाठी होइचे आज केवल गोटे कार्यक्रम भाव यहाँ को न नहीं एठारे आज आम जहाँ शुणिले जहाँ ग्रहण कले ताको जीवन रे केवल पालन करी केवल इंडिविजुअल व्यक्तिगत भाव रे नहीं सामूहिक भाव रे यह दिव्य प्रेमर ऊर्जा चतुर्दिगरे संप्रसारित हुई जमिति सर्पे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्पे सन्तु निरामया सर्पे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् समग्र विश्वर समग्र ब्रह्मांडर मंगल कामना करिबा ताहा ही कार्यक्रम मुख्य उद्देश्य। धन्यवाद समस्त गभीर गभीर धन्यवाद मु अनुरोध करी प्रोफेसर दीपिका साहू को आमर कार्यक्रम शेष पर्याय धन्यवाद अर्पण पूर्वक आग को बढ़ाइबे।
Divine good afternoon to all. Ipsita madam तो vote of thanks thank you कही दीचंती धन्यवाद जणीचंती. I am here to give the formal vote of thanks to the respected dignitaries, honored guests on the dais and masters present over here. At the outset, we express our deepest sense of gratitude to Mrs. Ipsita Pujari, Managing Trustee, Dhyana Yoga Trust, for her inspiring welcome address and coordination of the entire program, for envisioning and organizing such a meaningful and soulful event that beautifully blended spirituality, culture and inner awakening. We offer our sincere thanks for
Sorry to intervene. My dear friends, आज सेशन रे जदि गोटिए कोन मूल मंत्र निज साउंटी लेबा पई थिला ताहाला gratitude. I will expect and I will request all of you to take your seat so that we will really express our gratitude. Do not leave your seat. We have come to the fag end of the function. At the last moment, let us express, because after that we will have our prasad sevan, but whoever is interested can have interaction. And before conclusion of our gratitude, do not leave. Thank you.
We offer our sincere thanks for the profound message of Brahma Shri Patriji, which reminded us of the eternal power of meditation and self-realization. We are grateful to all the dignitaries associated with the release of magazine Dhyana Yoga and the book Sita's Yoga, the Yoga of Inner Awakening, both of which serve as guiding lights for spiritual reflection and conscious living. We express our heartfelt thanks to Professor Vijay Kumar Mahapatra Sir, Dean College of Agriculture, OYOT, Bhubaneswar, for graciously sparing his valuable time and enriching the program with his presence, guidance and inspiring words that added great value to the occasion. We extend our heartfelt thanks to respected Dena Merriam ma'am, eminent author, for her profound speech, guided Swadhyaya session, meditation session that truly enriched our inner journey and allowed us to truly feel the transformative power of meditation. Our sincere gratitude is also for Justice Dr. Bidyut Ranjan Sadangi Sir, Chief Guest and Honorable Member, National Human Rights Commission, for his thoughtful, inspiring address, which provided a meaningful reflection on human values and inner harmony of Kriya Yoga. We are thankful to Merriam, Director, Global Peace of Institution. We greatly appreciate the graceful Odissi dance depiction of Sita's story by Dr. Dipti Rautre and troupe, which artistically conveyed the essence of devotion, inner strength. We are also thankful to Aisha Patra, who depicted our Jagannath culture in the form of a beautiful dance. Above all, we express our deepest gratitude to our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, whose constant encouragement and kindful permission enabled us to organize this program aimed at the spiritual growth of our student, staff, and generate a positive vibe in the campus that will help understand the true healing power of meditation alongside academic learning. Our special thanks goes to the organizer, coordinator, volunteers and supporting staffs for their meticulous planning inside and outside the hall for smooth execution of the program. Finally, we thank all the participants and masters for their active presence, thoughtful engagement and openness to express this journey of reflection and meditation. May the thoughts, stillness, understanding and practice of thankfulness which we had done again today remain with us and gently guide our journey ahead. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all.